touching on my inside. He wakes up to the sound with a sliver of hope, but it's washed away. No, he can't feel it no more. Nothing's going wrong, just singing this song. The sun is shining down, and now you're crying out. I'm going crazy, my mind's hazy. But nothing's going wrong, just singing the song. Nothing's going wrong, just singing this song. The sun is shining down, and now you're crying out. I'm going crazy, my mind's hazy. But nothing's going wrong, just singing the song.
Hey guys, we'll be going live here in just 1 minute. And seriously, everybody that donated, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, we will be going to NEAT, I believe so. Yeah, so we'll either do it before the break, after DCTH, or we'll do it during live requests, but we'll get to it. We're definitely gonna look at NEAT, don't worry. Alright guys. Looks like it is 5 o'clock. So let's get our live stream going, guys. Thanks everybody for showing up. I really appreciate it. And yes, we'll do XXII as well. Yeah. Yeah, we'll get those done as well. Don't worry about that. I would definitely want to look at those. A lot of people are in there for that. So I did want to run through at least a bit of the our requests that we had going first. And just a quick shout out, Raymond, Candy, Steve, William, Ricardo, Cassandra, Transitions. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are saving my birthday week, and I can't tell you how much it means to have that help. You guys have no idea. So I really appreciate that, guys. But let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and jump into E-Trade here. Let's get our L2 out of the way. Alright, and it looks like first on our list is we have Square SQ. So let's go ahead and get started. Hold on just 1 second, somebody's having difficulties. Yeah, okay. So we just started, we're all good to go. Alright, cool. Alrighty. So we got Square pulled up here. Let's go ahead and go to our daily like we've been doing. I like to start at the daily and then we'll zoom in a little bit and see how it's going. And as of right now, it actually just immediately looks pretty solid, guys. A little bit of some selling signals going on here. Chan has died quite a bit. But as you can see, it's still above our blue line. And it's still above this cloud as well. So, however, these do seem to be inching closer together, so that could, you know, signal sort of a sell signal soon. And this support zone isn't that big either. But we do have a very nice looking lagging indicator right here behind the prices. It's above where we used to be, so that indicates a positive trend. We crossed over not too long ago for this buy signal, so it definitely could last, but let's quickly pull up our vertical here. Now, as you can see, it doesn't really seem to be too long in either direction. We did have quite a long buy signal right here, though. So that could mean that really it's kind of reached a bit of a peak, and it's going to be consolidating and things like that. But it very much just as quickly could go back into a sell soon and then flip back. I'd like to zoom in on what it was doing today, though, and see what it looks like. Yeah, so you can see here, this is where our sell signals were on the daily. And as you can see, it did dip below resistance pretty hard. And it's trying to come back through it. It did a little bit, but it's still going back into this resistance cloud. So the trick will be if it can hang out above here and stay above this. But as long as it keeps rejecting this cloud, that's not a bad thing. It can build support and everything like that. It looks like around 2808 or so is kind of the top of that resistance cloud. And I don't know if it will stay there though, because like I said, even on this, it's kind of approaching a sell signal as well in the MACD. Our Chan's going down. You know, we got our stochastic momentum is kind of tapering off and coming down here. So this is one that I would probably watch and wait just a little bit, because this is a pretty heavy drop right here too. I don't know if there's news or something on the 25th, but it was right at market open that it dropped. So I'm assuming some pre-market news or something like that. That's my best guess anyway. But Square, yeah, this is something I would want to watch for a little bit and just see if it can keep building this momentum. And as long as it stays above this resistance, it looks all right. But yeah, I don't see anything too crazy in here that we need to continue too much on really for Square. It seems pretty straightforward. Just see if it can recover from this dip and go back up. Yeah. All right, so we got Square done. Let's go to VSAR. I don't know if anybody in here is looking at that, but that was the next on our requests. And can everybody see my E-Trade okay? I don't have my stream running, so I don't know how it looks, but hopefully it looks all right. Sound and audio and video and everything. All right. And this one immediately, it looks like one of those charts that we had the other day. I am going to just say, okay, awesome, William, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to say this is one that I'm going to avoid just immediately looking at this. Okay, thanks, Candy. Appreciate that. This is one of those things where you just see this huge gap down, and you know it just doesn't look like the good. I think we actually looked at this stock yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, because if I remember, yeah, $20 all the way down to $3, and it's just hanging out there. So yeah, I don't even think we need to talk any further about VSAR. This is one is heading to a huge resistance cloud after a huge drop, and this is not something that I would personally want to be a part of just immediately right off the bat. So let's go ahead and just skip over to ADOM. And if anybody can post the link on Stocktwits or anything too, that'd be pretty awesome. You don't have to, but we should get some more people in here. It seems like we only have 7 right now. I guess people are probably coming home from work too. All right, well here is ADOM. And this looks like it's been pretty steady after this decline here. So since about the 15th of September, it's been pretty steady. But let's see how it looks on the daily. Okay. So yeah, we're pretty hard into a sell zone here. We're below the cloud. Our blue is definitely dipping hard away. It has kind of leveled off on the daily here, so it may change soon. But if you look again, we're not on a positive trend because of our lagging indicator back here. And I don't know, I would like to see this in a positive trend first, but it looks like we're kind of double bottomed right here as well. So around 641 or so may be our low. The RSI is really cooled off, so it could be a chance for it to turn up again. The Chand is already starting to turn up. And if you guys remember, that does indicate a little bit before the stochastic momentum and the MACD. So it looks like these are leveling off. You know, the MACD is heading back up. So that could be a nice reversal soon to go ahead and retest this resistance cloud. And you may be able to get a nice couple dollar swing out of it. Let's see how it looks on the 30-minute. Okay. So that's a good sign to see right here. It was able to bust through this cloud on the 30-minute. But again, kind of like on Square, just in the morning on the 25th, we had a huge attack right here. And it seems to not have recovered from that huge selling pressure or shorts or what have you. And it's just been kind of cycling after that. But again, here you can see our buy signals are starting again. So it could be time for a reversal. Our MACD is still heading up. Stochastic still heading up a little bit. So AVGR for later. Okay, all right, yeah, totally add it to the list, and we'll do it on the live request part for sure. And so I'm not crazy about it, but having these buy signals coming soon means it could be for a nice little reversal play. So what I would do, honestly, if you're waiting to buy, try to get low on this dip here, maybe around 690. And you could play it up to this resistance cloud, most likely around 724. So you may be able to get a nice like 30 or 40 cent swing out of it, but I don't know how confident I'll be that it'll do this again, just being that it's taken so long since this drop. But if I was looking to buy, I would do something maybe around 690 or so and try to play it up to that resistance cloud. Let's see how it looks on the 60-minute. Yeah, so we're getting basically the same thing here. You know, about 690 or so for the bottom, and our resistance cloud is again up around 750. So a little bit higher than it is on the 30-minute, but again, you're only looking at maybe a 50 cent, 40 cent play, at least in my opinion, because I wouldn't want to deal with trying to go with the cloud. I'd be scared of it rejecting it again. But I do think that it will retest. You know, we have our red line going down. They're kind of going together. But again, MACD is kind of going up into a buy. This is way oversold on the stochastic momentum. So that's what I would try to do. Just, 690, 748 or so, and try to play that swing. I don't see any reason I'd want to try to hold it through the cloud. As you can see, it's been dipping really low and just trying to get out of it, but it's just rejecting it every time. And I have a feeling it'll reject it again, in my opinion. All right. Yeah, so let's go to PTN. Pull back here to the daily. And if I see one that I really like, we'll probably do some fibs on it. But I want to reserve that for just a couple charts just because it takes more time. And, just make sure it's one that I like to see and not, waste my time on a chart that's not so nice. Like this one here looks very nice, I think, PTN. We looked at it before. A lot of people thought it was going to crash after this initial jump here. And it seems to have continued pretty well, going on an uptrend here. Our blue line is still deviating away on the daily. That's really nice. And even though this went into a sell signal on the MACD, it's kind of just staying with it. It's not dipping so hard below. So that'll be interesting to see if these can turn up like the Chond is, and see if we can get another buy signal and keep going up on this. That's pretty nice. You have to be a little bit careful when you see these thin clouds though, because there's not a lot of support to hold it up. Excuse me, I had to take a sip there. And as you can see, it's been pretty much flat until this peak right now. And if we pull out our horizontal, it's only been above this peak. It looks like a little bit here, so like 4 times or so, 5 times, just barely over here. And that's since June. So it's going to be definitely retesting these, and you're going to want to see if it has enough strength to push through. I don't know if it will or not, because I haven't been following the stock that closely. But as of right now, our lagging indicator is great. This is great. We're above all this. RSI is turning up, Chond is turning up, and this very easily could turn into a buy signal. Let's see how it looks on the 30-minute. Okay, so on the 30-minute here, we just got out of a bit of a cloud, and it looks like it's going to be testing the bottom right here, or the top of this one. Yeah, so I think as long as it can stay above 63, it's done some consolidation here. So it's a little bit hot, but again, the MACD is still turning up a little bit, but we do have our Chond turning down on the 30-minute, whereas on the daily it was going up. So it could very easily keep going down. You see how the blue line is curving down right here? This very easily could continue to do that and create a sell signal inside the red cloud, in which case it's going to most likely be rejecting off the bottom of it at 62, which, if you do look at the chart, it doesn't really like to hold its gains that it gets, and it kind of just stays steady, you know what I mean? So I really wouldn't be surprised if it just kind of cycles and does the same thing, just because it's been doing it for so long. But this very well could be the point that it does try to retest up here at the top of this candle at around 69 or so. So what I would do is, if you're in it, hold it for now and see which way it goes on this resistance cloud. And if it starts getting inside it and dipping below, it may be time to get rid of it before we're testing down here again, which it very well could do. But if you are bouncing off the top of this, if you're bouncing 63 and higher, it may be time for it to go ahead and retest up. So it looks pretty decent. It's a little closer to the clouds for me to want to jump in necessarily, but it's not that scary. So you kind of want to see something like this on that other chart. You want it to go through the cloud and be bouncing off the top and then kind of trying to break away. So it looks like tomorrow is going to be the interesting day, because it's either going to follow this or it's going to, bounce up and continue. And you're going to want to watch that really closely tomorrow on the 15-minute and see, especially with the Chond momentum going down. Hey Jigglypuff, no, you didn't miss XXII. We're going to do it at the end right before break, and then we're going to do the live request after that, man. So you're good. Yeah, we didn't do the XXII yet. You're good. But yeah, so again, just watch this really closely tomorrow. If it starts dipping down around 62, just be careful there because it might want to bust through the cloud down again. But if it keeps going up from this point, you should be okay, in my opinion. I don't really have a price exit point other than 69. No problem, Jiggly. Other than 69, just because that's the most recent peak, and that's something that's going to want to retest badly. Especially if you look at how big these candles were. It very quickly got away from that, so it's going to have to build up kind of slow, I think, to get to there. But alright, let's Moon Man. Alright. Alright, well, let's check out ATRS. We'll see how that looks. And we'll go up to the daily again. Alright, so this actually looks pretty good, guys. Just on my first little look here. It's beating this resistance here. Hey, Ricardo. Welcome, man. I'm glad you're here. This looks really good, actually. It's beating this resistance, and it hit the consolidation cloud, but it just did what it's supposed to there. Just consolidated really nicely inside. Didn't dip too far below until the very end. And we have a really nice buy signal going on right here. It's about to hit to the red line and cross, and it's going to cross above the cloud. So actually, this looks really nice on the daily chart, guys. Especially if this buy signal continues in. And look at the Chond, it's just rocketing up. Just got a buy signal on the MACD. Just got a buy on the stochastic on the 21st. Like, this looks really good. I think it probably has another couple days of running in it if it continues like this. I mean, it got up to, let's see, 323 right now, 324. And I think that's pretty much, yeah, so that's pretty much the highest that it's been since way back here in June of 2014. So that's a very nice sign that it's approaching those levels, and it's so steady. Like, look how incredibly linear that is. That's really nice. Yeah, let's see how it, I actually really like this one. I may honestly play it if I get out of another play. So far, this looks really nice. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's go to the 30 again. Or actually, yeah, let's check out the 15. Wow, 15 looks basically the same, guys. Above resistance cloud. Buy line is still above the red. Our lagging indicator is above where it was right here, indicating positive trend. Now these are a little hot on the 15-minute, so it'll probably cool down a little bit. But if you remember, the daily is approaching such a strong buy signal, and if that crosses above the cloud, that is amazing. That's really nice. I actually kind of want to do a little bit of a fib on this one, just to see, because it's so linear. Like, that's just really nice to see. You don't see that often. Hey Arm, no, we haven't done SYIN yet. We're gonna do SYIN is gonna be right after XXII, and we're gonna do that before the break. We have about maybe 5 or 6 more tickers to go through, and then we'll be doing DCTH and then XXII. So you haven't missed it, man. It's probably just another few minutes away. So yeah, let's check out here. Let's go to this MACD crossing actually, and then do our fib fan from there. Awesome, Aram. Yeah, thanks, man. Glad you're here to watch. All right. So yeah, if you look, kind of cycling above the trend, it's been below it for quite some time, consolidating in this zone. So it's definitely going to be a test to get above this line, but I don't see a reason that it can't test this line. It looks pretty good to me. Everything looks strong. Like I said, though, it's a little overbought, but it's not crazy. Let's check it out on the 30-minute. Yeah, so we're seeing basically the same thing on the 30-minute. We got our buy indicators. We're a little hot, but that doesn't mean it can't ride in the hot zone like these have. And again, this just looks really solid, guys. I don't see anything that's scaring me and making me not want to buy this. We'll check out an ARC as well. We'll go back here. Yeah, I mean, it's just steadily crushed that. You know what I mean? No problems there. I don't see any issues with this going up anymore. Yeah, I would maybe just try to buy on any dip tomorrow if you're looking to get in this. Probably around here, honestly, around 313 or so, maybe 318 to 313, and just set a really tight stop loss and see if it can't test out of this trend and start this new fan zone, because this looks really nice, guys. It's not very often you just see such strong linear growth, and you got a nice little bull here, reverse head and shoulders kind of thing. I mean, this just looks really nice, especially after all of this dippage. So be careful though when it approaches 327. That's going to be one of your lines to look out for, way back here, that previous top. And I don't see any reason that it can't run from where it's at now, from 321 to 327. But we'll just have to see if it tries to break that top there or not. That's going to be the big test. And like I said, everything's a little hot, so I wouldn't be surprised if it cools down around that 327 and does a little bit of consolidation first. But yeah, no, I agree, Mood Man. This is a really handsome looking stock. So I don't see anything too scary, and it's done enough little bit of retesting here at the top. It's probably going to do a bit of retesting again. So just maybe watch out for a dip, maybe even as low as 309, 313, and see if you can ride it up to 327. Get a nice little swing play out of it. But yeah, ATRS, I'll try to remember that one. I do like it. All right, now we're going to do IGC. And this again, it looks pretty good. Not super strong on the uptrend, but not too bad either. Our MACD is in a buy. RSI is pretty steady right in the middle. We're about to get another buy signal on here as well on the stochastic momentum. And yeah, again, this looks pretty good. Our Chan's kind of going down, but it's still technically just right in the middle. That's not that bad at all. And it looks like it's just been kind of consolidating a bit for the last bit of the days. Way back to the 20th to now, it's kind of just been consolidating. Maybe some people got a little bored here because they bought in at this peak and sold out. That'd be my guess for that consolidation. But it does look pretty good. Let me go back to fib fans. I haven't been doing fibs in a while. I keep doing the Ichimoku. We'll see what we can get out of this. Yeah, so you can see there, tried to test out, couldn't quite make it. And it's just been kind of consolidating in this middle fan zone. So I would say it looks okay as long as it's not dipping below this fan here. Because once it does that, it's a little scarier because you're going to have to build back up. Let's check out this here. Yeah, so again, it's testing out of this fan, this little downtrend zone right here. And so tomorrow is going to be really interesting because we got a bunch of intersections that it can test through. It'll be interesting to see which one of these it follows for sure. Let's pull up the daily and the Ichimoku and see what we get. All right. So we got that going. Yeah, and so here's where we see that resistance I was thinking about, in the 329 range, or not 329, I'm sorry, the 39 range. As you can see, we tried to test into the cloud. We got up to, or let me get my horizontal out again. We got up into the resistance cloud around 43, and it just kind of rejected it though, which you're going to see this a lot when things approach the red cloud. They're going to reject it, if not just consolidate inside it. And yeah, we're technically at a buy signal though back here on the 20th. So it's a below the cloud though. And remember I said if you get that buy signal below the cloud, it's not quite as strong. So that's the reason most likely that it didn't try to bust through that hard. I would imagine, just looking at the daily, you're going to be going up to about 38 or so, and you're going to approach some heavy resistance. But again, I mean, it's pretty nice and steady. Got the buy signal. And unfortunately, though, we got a sell signal on the stochastic momentum on the daily right here starting. And that very well could signal further rejection away from the cloud. So this one's giving a lot of mixed signals, guys. It's kind of hard to determine just off this and the fibs. Because if you look at this one, we're looking at consolidation in this zone. So basically, it's either going to reject that or it's going to consolidate in this zone for a while. So I imagine your 38, your 36 to 38 range, or 37 to 38 range, that's going to be really heavy to get through. You probably have quite a few people that are bought here though and that are waiting, so you may get a nice jump if people try to average down some more. But it's going to depend on volume and everything as well. Let's pull up the volume really quick and just see how that was going. Yeah, so again, volume's been pretty dead, so that makes a lot of sense as to why it's not getting pressure to bust through. So you're going to want to watch the volume and see, look for any spikes, and see how it goes from there. Hey Robert, yeah, we're going to do HMNY. It's actually right before DCTH, and we're not too far away from that. We're at Homer now. We're just going to finish IGC. We go to Homer, and I think we have coming up, it's going to be RLOG, RTK, SYIN, APHB, then HMNY. So it's not too far away, dude. Yeah, no problem, dude. Not a problem at all. Alrighty. So here we go. This one, it kind of looks like that other one where we had an extreme drop and approaching a huge resistance cloud. So this to me looks like a no fun zone. This looks like something that yeah, Moonman. So I'll get you a better one. Here, I'll explain the Ichimoku a little bit better on when we get a nice looking chart, which should be coming up, but I don't want to really do it too much on this chart because we're not going to last on it, because you don't want to really, you really don't want to trade this one right now. It's just something happened here, some really bad news, and it just hasn't fought its way back yet. Yeah, Torian, awesome to have you here. Yeah, for real, man. I really appreciate all of you showing up, for real. Like, this is what I love to do, and having you guys show up and letting me continue to do this is like, it's the best. You guys have no idea. I appreciate it like so much. So, but again, this is a no fun zone. I would definitely wait until this is busting up and doing something to get out of this cloud. It's just, I don't even want to really look at it too much further, just because it just has so much work to do. I mean, look how far below the blue line it is here. So even if it's going to snap back, it's so far. It just doesn't look like fun, at least especially until these turn into buy signals on the daily. I would avoid this one for now. Just keep an eye on it and see, if it can fix itself. I pronounced your name right? Awesome. Yeah, I'm actually okay with names. I do all right. Maybe not spelling the names so much, but I can say them. All right, but we're gonna get off Homer. I didn't really like that one that much. I would just kind of watch it and see what happens. And let's see what we're looking at here. Okay, so apparently I've looked up RLOG before. Looks like quite a mess. I was doing some fib work on it, it looks like. So yeah, look, check that out though. Whenever I was doing this, I have no idea when it was. Actually, we can check because I would do it to the middle here. So I did this way back on August 17th. And I put right here at this buy zone that is probably going to be the same. And check it out. It's still the same, guys. Yeah, no, tons of fibbing, tons of arcs. This one's a hot mess. But it's still in the same zone, guys. So to me, I mean, look at this. I seriously did this way back in August 17th, and it's still in the same zone. So this doesn't look like very, very much fun to me. I would not be a part of this one still. Not until it can break out above something. So if you can see it break out above 34 and maybe retrace this peak that I did back here, then maybe. But I think I can just leave my work here, honestly, because it's still in the same zone. You did get a buy signal on the MACD on the daily, but that's it. I mean, it may start to bust through, but until I see this one on an actual uptrend and not something crazy like this peak back here, it just doesn't look like that much fun to me either. So that's pretty much all I got to say about RLOG, I think. It's just the same price all the time. So, and if you're looking at long term, even if you zoom out, pretty much just steady decline up until now. So yeah, this one needs a lot of work, guys. It needs a lot of work. You might be able to do these little swings 24 to 34. So maybe look for a dip down to, 24 again and play it up. That seems to be what it does, right? Just there, dip back down to there, consolidation, a little bit up to there. You know what I mean? So you get these random peaks, but it's not going to work for you unless you're buying around 24 or so. All right, I think that's enough for RLOG though. Let's go to RTK, and then next up it'll be SYIN, APHB, and HMNY. All right. Sorry, I need to take a drink. My throat's dry again. No problem, Jonathan. I even though you said to skip it, I had it in the list, man. So I'm true to my word. I'm gonna go through the list. You know what I mean? I appreciate you saying that. Alrighty, so let's take a look here at RTK. So this does look pretty nice. MACD has been going up. It crossed our 0 line. Stochastic momentum still going up. Chan is still going up. And it looks like this buildup hasn't been too extreme. That's what she said. That's funny. But it looks like here, as you can see, it's kind of double topping out at 52 cents. And 52 cents does seem to be this range back here that it's been kind of stuck in forever. So it looks like it's had a few spiky volume days, probably good news, something like that, but it hasn't really affected the stock price that much. I mean, you got a spike this day for 30 cents, right? But it immediately lost it because everybody sold out that was holding from back here. And then when those people were out, there was no more bag holders and price went back down. And maybe people are re-entering right here. But again, it's kind of a steady growth now, and it's continuing. That's kind of nice to see. But we are probably gonna, I bet you if we pull up the Ichimoku, we're gonna have resistance here around 56 to 50 cents. Let's see. Yep, there you go. Right there. 53 down to 33. That's a big resistance zone. It makes sense though because of how low it was back here. But we do have some positive indications that are good. We have our lagging indicator, this goldenrod one right here. We have our lagging indicator above the stock price it was at then. So that's a positive trend. We have our buy signal of the blue crossing over the red. Now granted, it's not far across there, which makes sense because it's in this consolidation area, or resistance area, I should say. But the fact that it's inside here and still getting green candles is nice. It could very well work its way up to 53 cents, but it definitely has a lot of resistance here to get there. So just keep an eye on these. If these keep trending up, that's a very good sign. It's probably not a bad time to buy if you do a really tight stop loss. Something like 39 cents, try to buy around like maybe 42, set a stop loss around 39 or so, 38, and see if you can ride through this consolidation and get through a cloud burst. But again, there's no guarantee that it's not just going to continue down and be at the bottom of resistance. You got to be really careful with these red clouds. But the fact that there is a buy signal so close, it could keep going, but you just got to be careful. And let's see here. And don't worry again, man. I will talk about the Ichimoku a little bit more. I just want to get one that looks a little bit nicer to go on a little bit more about it. And again here, though, you can see on the 15-minute, it tried to bust through it, and it couldn't do it. Went back down below resistance, and is trying to bust through again. So this very well could happen tomorrow, that it does bust through. You can see the red and the blue are right together. But again, you just have to be careful because it just as easily can go down to these resistances. So I want to say if you see it go down to 43 or so, it's kind of a buy because of what we saw on the other chart. But be careful because it can continue popping off the bottom of this cloud. And yeah, so Moonman, what we're looking at here, like with the cloud, the green clouds are more of a support, red clouds are more of a resistance. And what happens in these clouds is normally either consolidation or rejection when you approach either side. So if a stock is approaching from the bottom of a red cloud, most of the time, if it doesn't have a really strong buy signal and some really good buying pressure, it's going to pop off the bottom of this and reject down. But if there's a lot of buying pressure, that's times when it can bust through the cloud. But what makes it hard is all these resistance levels, because you have your red line on the cloud, you have your green line on the cloud, and those are different supports and resistance levels. And then each of these, the blue line is it's a 9-day or 9 periods, depending on your chart, high and low divided by 2. So it's kind of like a moving average. And then you have your 26 period on the red line here, divided by 2. So 26 period high and 26 period low divided by 2. And those create the different resistance levels. And I forgot the exact measurements for the cloud lines. I'm sorry about that right now. But basically you have 4 different levels of support and resistances that go through. And what you're looking for is you want your stock on a good Ichimoku trend. You want the stock to follow the blue line as closely as possible, and you want it to continue on positive trends with it. And when this blue line crosses under the red line, that's a sell. And when it crosses above the red line, that's technically a buy. But what gives you a really strong buy signal is when the blue crosses above the red, but it's also crossing above a cloud, because that means there's not much resistance above it, and it can go. Whereas down here, it's like, yeah, it's a buy signal, but it's a buy signal into resistance. You know what I mean? And yeah, I did take a look at KEM and IMGN today. I forgot what I saw, to be honest with you, but I do remember looking at them. If what I remember is some pretty good runs, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry I don't remember right now, though. My brain's stuck in Ichimoku. So, but yeah, you have these buy signals, though, right here. You have these really nice looking things, but possible sell in the stochastic. So again, just be careful of this consolidation. I would be very careful about this zone right here that we're in. I'm betting that it is going to reject the top of this cloud again. Just being that we're twice going through it, I think it's going to reject 4670 again tomorrow, and it's going to go back down and consolidate around 45. So I wouldn't really be touching this until I saw something above the cloud for a little bit of time, because it does not seem to want to be above it. I mean, if you go back here, this is a consolidation cloud, and it could not sit and ride inside that. So it's just a little bit scary, but I mean, it has potential to do it. I just want to see a little bit more strength, and I want to see on the daily, we want to see it get out of this resistance cloud first. And we want to see it bouncing up the top and above 53, in my opinion, before I'd be super confident in buying it. Yeah, no problem, Moonman. Yeah. Yeah, we can look at SBI for live request. It'll help a lot if we do that when I come back for part 2, because I will type them out. I'll ask for the request when I get back, and we can type them out in order and make sure I get it. Because if I say it right now, I'll forget. I'll forget all the requests in the chat, because as soon as I look at a chart and get in there, I'm so ADD, I'm just going to forget what's going on, and I am not going to remember what I said I would do. So just, yeah, if you can just remind me again after we come back from break, and I'll write those down, and we'll totally get to all your requests that we can. Last night we streamed for almost 3 hours, so we'll most likely get to it. I hate leaving you guys hanging, so I want to get to everything I can. But I think that's pretty good for RTK. Just let's look forward to get out of this cloud first. Somebody remind me again, you know, another day, and let's come back and look at it. And yeah, it looks good. Oh wow, we do have 34 people. Thank you very much, guys. That is amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much. Now we're going to look up SYIN. I know quite a few people are watching this right now. I'll actually go ahead and get rid of some of this so we can look at the chart a little bigger. So this is our fib that we drew. Daniel, happy to have you, man. Glad that you're happy to be here. We're happy that you're here, man. All right, so we did this fib yesterday, and as you can see, it doesn't really need much adjustment. It did test really hard below here, down to 85. But if you look, most of our candle is solid right here on this middle trend line, which leads me to believe that it's not really going to be testing down here too much. And if you remember way back in all my videos that we did, watching some coin roll away, if you remember on my other videos, when we see dips like this through a trend or pokes above it, that indicates change. Not necessarily positive or negative, but change will happen. But in this case, I'm thinking positive change, because if you look, our blue line still was creeping up today, even after this huge dip. We're still getting divergence away from the red. We're still above the red cloud, and we're still within inside this fib. So that doesn't look that bad to me right now today. But let's pull up a little bit zoomed in and see what's going on the 30. Excuse me. Okay, and again, you can see here, I'll get rid of the Ichimoku for a second. So yeah, you can see here, it follows these trends pretty well. It's testing as much as it could up here. As you guys know, when we see super sharp trends, they don't like to hold very often. Then we went sideways, tested this zone, couldn't hold it. We're just very sideways consolidating right here, 97, 98 cents, which we have been doing. It tried to test up above it again right here at 104, and it couldn't quite hold. I think this was just too big of a gap, too fast. People liked that it was above $1, and a lot of people hopped in. I'm included. I think I hopped in around 104. I just, you never know when a run's going to continue, and sometimes you got a YOLO, you know what I mean? But as you can see, we did get a double top here around 104.96 on both these candles. And double tops generally do signify that it might go down, which it did. But as you can see, it did follow these fibs pretty well when it was testing. And it just dipped really hard right here for just a little bit on the, so only 1 hour did it dip this hard. Oh, at 1 for you, dude? Nice jump in, man. Nice jump in. I wish I was in at 1 or 98 today. I wanted to slap the ask and help out, but, that doesn't always work. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, this looks really strong to me on this recovery. I mean, the rest of the day after 10 in the morning, it was just a steady incline up. And normally when you see huge crashes like this, it's not going to be that quickly to rebound. So this is a really nice price rejection, in my opinion. And I really like that it's climbing back up into these fibs. I wouldn't be surprised if it did follow this slower trend here. So it took a while to get back to $1. I mean, we're looking at $1 around, noon on the 29th if it follows that trend. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how quickly how it goes back up. But that dip was, it was really brutal. But we rejected it so fast that I'm not really worried about it, to be honest with you. A lot of times if you see a dip like this, it's going to be like, oh man, here it goes. We're going to be stuck down here. We're going to get shorted like crazy. But it got a nice V shape rejecting that. But let's pull up the Ichimoku really quick on this one, on the 30-minute, and see what we see. Alright. So yeah, that basically looks like I thought it would. We're going to have this resistance right here, around 98 cents. But, like I said, when we have this buy signal here, that's usually a good sign that it's going to keep going up. But again, it's a buy signal below the cloud. So it's not nearly as strong as a buy signal above the cloud, which means it has room to run. And what's also not good is our lagging indicator right here is below the stock price at this time by quite a bit. But again, we're on the 30-minute, so it's going to be a little bit more extreme than on the daily. So, but we want this lagging indicator to be above the price, which in a little bit of time periods, it will be. But yeah, seeing this huge rejection right here, like look how far down the blue line went, and we still just shot back up, right? That's a very good sign in my opinion. That means that people are not happy with it being that low. And as you can see, the RSI is responding accordingly, going at a nice smooth upturn. Only at 56 right now, so it still has plenty of room to get to 80, like 24 percentage points, or whatever those points are called, 24 points to get up there. And again, so we'll just have to see if it can bust through this cloud when it gets to 98 again, which I think is going to test that again tomorrow, or not. It's going to be hard to see. I mean, we dipped down pretty hard in after hours, right? Is it 95 right now, really? So again, it's just gonna have to test this cloud just like a bunch of other ones we looked at. But if you look at the daily, look how nice the daily looks. All right, and that Moonman, this is a good one for you to see. Oh, I'm expecting it to go to like 120 or so. That's my hope. Let's ride it out to 120, and if it really pushes through 120 really nicely, I may hold a little bit longer, maybe sell like half or so, and then try to hold the rest and see if I can hit like 150, just, you know, that psychological barrier. But as of right now, I'm looking for about 115 to 120 right now. Yeah, even 117 would be a great, yeah, I mean, it's right in the middle of what I just said. 117 would be a great exit point, in my opinion. And I think a lot of people are looking for 120. So I imagine once we get there, we'll see a lot of selling, in my opinion. But yeah, there is a gap to fill. If we pull up the year to date, we have this huge gap right here way back in November, and that could easily fill now, and that gap goes all the way up to $1.60. So I mean, it's all about just continuing this trend, right? And this very well could fill because there's nothing there. This could just spike up pretty hard once it gets there. It just depends on the shorts and everything like that. But Moonman, what I wanted you to see on this one in terms of the Ichimoku, as you can see, when it gets into these clouds, you see how it kind of resists popping out. It usually consolidates a bit. And we got lucky on this one. Yeah, $1.60, Torian. $1.60. Yeah, I like it too. Yeah, so, but as you can see, it kind of consolidates when it gets in the clouds, but when it's going down, it usually will zip through a red cloud because it's so much resistance that people are just going to sell. But again, as you can see here, we got lucky. It went through a skinny part of the cloud and it just kept going. It's above this resistance. Our lagging indicator is above the stock price, so we're definite positive trend. And what's also good on the daily that I like today, so even though we dipped so hard, check out what we did is we filled some gap right here. See this? We didn't fill it all the way, but we did have a nice gap here between 87 and 92 cents. And we went through all of that today. And we went through even some of this candle right here. So I really think that we filled the gap for this most previous jump. And we're just basically playing with the psychological level of $1. That seems to be what's going on, is the shorts are... What happened today is a lot of times when it got to 104, 105, you'd see a huge short attack down to $1.99, and it would get immediately soaked back up. People would just start buying it, you know what I mean? So the short attacks, they were pretty bad, but people were ready to buy, and people definitely wanted over $1. And it closed at $1 today, and I think it needs to close 10 days in a row to stay listed, if I'm correct, guys. I don't, if you can remind me if I'm wrong or not there. But I believe it needs to close at $1 for 10 days straight to stay listed. And today was the first day it closed at $1. So we do have a chance again of that tomorrow. And if we can open up really strongly, I think it's going to be all right, personally. Okay, so that is right, Torian? Okay. All right, so I think that's good for SYN. Let's pull up APHB. And then after APHB, guys, we got HMNY, DCTH, and XXII are coming up. So I'll actually type that out. Got HMNY, DCTH, and XXII. Those are all coming up next after this one. All right, so this one is a little spooky. We've seen this a couple times now today. Huge drops. Hey, Robert, we'll totally do requests, man. If you don't mind just asking right after we get back from the part 1 break, and we're going to take everybody's live request after the break, okay? And Candy, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Let's see here. So yeah, you can even see here, it's trying to test these resistances right here. It just couldn't do it. Huge volume day right here, but it could not break that. It got into the resistance, rejected it, and we just now went through the cloud, but look again, it's already back into this resistance zone. huge selling looking thing on the blue line. Our lagging indicator is above the stock price though, so it's technically positive trend right now. But this looks very scary to me. We're dipping super hard into the cloud, and it didn't reject off it at all. Like, this candle is clearly inside it. We really want to see it bouncing off the top of that, and we don't want to see this huge dip right here. RSI is even cooling off a bit, and as you can see, there's been no volume basically this whole time. You know, ever since the 27th of July, there's been like not really any volume. So that's a little spooky to me, in my honest opinion. Yeah, and you can even see it here, almost the exact same thing. Yeah, and if we pull up the 30-minute, we're still below a resistance cloud. This is still in sell zone. It's not peaking up enough to it. And yeah, I don't really like this one, guys. Maybe once this crosses into a buy signal and is closer to the cloud. But yeah, I don't know. This one just looks a little too scary for me. It's just too strong of a downtrend. Not really quite enough rejection yet, because we've leveled off just enough right here, just the same as we did here, and it still went down. I would like to see a lot more positive direction first before I would jump into this one, guys. Alright, so next up is HMNY. Oh, and again, we still have 30 people. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Seriously, thank you. Okay, so HMNY, let's pull up the daily. Wow, so this guy is just launching, right? It's been... Let's pull up the 6 month. And if you look at the 6 month, it's been pretty much down. We have almost a golden parachute here by itself. And since then, it does huge sell-off from bag holders, and it's just been on a steady down decline. But it is just now starting to beat out of that. Look at that. That's a huge beat. So I'm guessing this had some insane news, and it is just going haywire. This is another one kind of like NEAT, where it's hard to recommend and chart because of how extreme it's going up. You know what I mean? But one thing I will say that's nice is even though it's on this extreme line, our blue line is starting to go away from the red, and it's starting to provide a little bit more up support there. Yeah, it had to... Oh, is this the Movie Pass one? This had to be the Movie Pass one, right? Because that would make total sense. Yeah, if they had their 400K subscribers or something like that, yeah, that's definitely crazy. And it very well could continue running again tomorrow, guys. I mean, 2 green candles, a little bit of selling. 3 green candles, a little bit of selling. I mean, this trend very well may continue, but it also could start finding its top. But we really don't know what the valuation is that people are happy with this news, because it is crazy news, but what is the top? You know what I mean? It would have been nice if this green candle hit the same peak as this one. It does look like it's kind of on a chance that it might go and retest this gap here. This one right here, between 698 and 771. And I would say if it retests that gap, it's probably a really strong buy, because it's not going to go too much closer to this red line, most likely around $6 even. But I would be scared of another red day tomorrow so far. But let's look at our MACD and our stochastic momentum really quick. So these are still heading up though, guys. So that's really strong. One red won't kill it, but it is a little bit overbought. So it's hard to say when all these indicators are so close to overbought zone and inside it, if it's going to continue or not. Because that's one of those things that you'll notice too when charting, is that news can change a chart and make the chart not even matter at all. You know what I mean? Like this could, as far as I know, this could keep running to $20 and this will be oversold for 2 weeks. It just, news affects the charts so crazily that sometimes you just have to toss them out the window and play psychology, you know? You can't always only rely on charts, especially if you don't know how good a news might actually be for the stock price, which in this case I don't, which I would probably be playing this psychologically and just kind of following it. But let's see if our fibs can tell us anything about this. at least a little bit on this crazy run. Let's do a fib fan really quick. And we'll go from this MACD crossing on this green candle. So yeah, as you guys know, how many times have I said when we have an extreme trend like this, is it hard to keep? You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that it won't continue up, but most of the time when we see such an extreme peak like this, it likes to not hold it. It really likes to be in these lower ranges when that happens. And I'm not saying that's going to happen tomorrow, but we did dip below this fib here, and that does signify change. So either we're going to bounce back up hard off this tomorrow, or it's going to be time to retest this lower area, like where this gap is. And it's hard to say, like I said, because this run has just been so insane. You know, it honestly to me is 50-50. So it'll just be hard to see, guys. It's hard to say. Let's look at the 30-minute though and see what we get out of that. All right, so we're looking at basically the same thing here on the 30-minute with this fib. Yeah, and again, it can't really test out of that zone. We had a huge gap up, and I really think we're going to fill this gap here. I really do. So don't be surprised to see the price in this gap tomorrow. If you see it around this range here, 718 to 775 or so, I would not be surprised. What I would be doing if I'm in the stock is I would have a stop loss a little bit below 775 in hopes that it would bounce off this fib and not get triggered too soon, just in case. But I really think we're going to retrace to this gap and then start testing back up in this fib zone again. But again, like I said, it very well could just keep curving up and do that, because if you look at the MACD, it is starting to curve up into a buy signal again. So, you know, in the last 2 hours of the day, things turned around and it's starting to go back up. So this may be all the dip it needs to start going back up. So again, if you're in it, I'd set a pretty tight stop loss to 775 or so, and just watch really closely and see if it bounces off 790s. And if it starts crashing through 790s, you may be filling this gap again from 718 to 775. Just have to be very careful about it. We did do VSAR yet. Yeah, we did VSAR on the second one that we did. So when the stream's over, you'll be able to rewind it and everything and go back, and you can watch VSAR, no problem, man. But yeah, so just be careful of it retracing tomorrow. I think it's going to be another red day. There's no guarantee. But if it's not a red day, it should bounce off pretty hard and be a nice increase back to the 960s range, in my opinion. But yeah, this chart's really strong. It's kind of spooky just because of how strong it is. But let's take a quick look at the Ichimoku on it. Yeah, so here you can see this really nicely, guys, on the 30-minute. So when you see something like this happen, most of the time that I've seen it when I've been pulling it up lately is that it's going to go into this cloud and just consolidate on it. But it very well could bounce off of it. But if you look, we just got a sell signal above the cloud. Those are generally pretty accurate. Not 100% of course, but it is pretty accurate. And our RSI is going up though, away from it though. So again, it very well, it could go down, test the top of this cloud around 842 or so, and just bounce right off it. And that's what you want to see. You want to see it hitting the green cloud and going off and creating new support, and that's the zone. So just look for it to keep filling this zone and going up and bringing the blue line with it. And if not, then you may want to be careful once it starts dipping below this range here, because it looks like it's probably going to consolidate for a while if it does get in there. So I would imagine if you see below 825, that's when we're going to be filling. If you see below 825, that's when you'll probably fill this gap over here lower. But if you can bounce off and stay above 840s or so, you might be able to just happily consolidate and ride along the top here, in my opinion. So hopefully that's helpful for HMNY, guys. All right, and let's do DCTH really quick. Oh yeah, no problem, Kevin. Absolutely, my dude. All right, so here's DCTH right now. As we all know, we had the reverse split news and everything. It's in OTC now, but Torian, that's funny. He said this chart is like seeing your hot X on the arm of a worse looking guy. That's really funny. That's really funny. Luckily, I don't have a hot looking X, and I'm a better looking guy, so it doesn't matter. But as you can see here, again, the consolidation resistance zone, but oddly enough, very strong buy signal. Our lagging indicator is above the stock price. And it's, I don't know, it's interesting. It very well could try to bust through this cloud. But again, look how deep this resistance is. I mean, if you look how deep this resistance is, it can easily try to test this again. My thinking is, if you see it get up to 660 and get out of this zone on the 30-minute, it might be time to sell it because it's probably going to go back down in there. Just because of just how much is, you know, it's just been down here for so long. Let's see how it looks on the daily. Yeah, and this is where you can really see it, guys. So this was our resistance line at 660, which it could break, but look how heavy the sell signal still is. And then look how far below it is our resistance lines. I mean, we're talking 8 cents, 9 cents, something like that. I can't math, 7 cents. So it may very well, RSI is turning up, and this and everything. It may very well start turning up and get you a little bit out. But the odds, I think, of it going to 13 cents again are pretty low, just based on all the information, everything going on. But it does have a slight chance of getting a peak the next 2 days, and maybe even getting up to, you know, 10 cents or so. I'm not gonna lie, it might actually see that. So I don't really know. I don't want to recommend buying this for sure, but if you're holding it, you might be able to get a bit better of a sell in the next few days. But don't be surprised if it hits 10 cents and bounces back down, in my opinion, where the red line is and where the bottom of these candles are right here. I wouldn't be surprised about that at all, especially because of how many people are probably going to want to get out. And if you look at the volume differences, it's all red basically, with just a little bit of green in between. And volume's even dying out more now. I'm guessing a lot of people have already sold out and things like that. You'll drive to my house and kiss me? How about that? No, that's okay, bro. You don't have to do that. You can just give me like $5 or something and be like, that's really cool. I don't know. You don't have to come kiss me. It's alright. But yeah, so just keep an eye on it. You may have a chance the next couple days to get out if you're waiting, but I would really not expect it to go above 10. But if it does, congratulations, sell it. You're in a lot better boat than a lot of people were. All right, but I think that's good for DCTH. Now let's pull up XXII. All right, good deal. All right, and here's XXII, which we've been looking at. We still technically are on a positive trend from the 26 periods ago, but as you can see, it's tested down pretty hard, and it did get to my 246 line that I put there yesterday. So it did dip below that, and we're back up today. And let's see what our low was for today. 261. It's about 271 now, and it rode at 270 to 271 like all day, didn't it? Like, I'm pretty sure it was like all day that it rode to 260 or 270, 271. There just wasn't a lot of buy volume today. And it looks like it is headed still into more of a sell signal even here. But let's look at it zoomed in on the 60-minute and see if that's the same case. All right. So it does look a little bit better, but also a little bit worse on the 60-minute. The reason I say it looks better is because we have our buy signal happening here, which could signify recovery heading towards the cloud this way, which we want to hit it at the skinny part so it's not a lot of resistance to go through. But it very well, you know, just could and bounce off the bottom like we've been seeing. So I think that, yeah, the top of this candle where this is, that's really what we want to get to. We want to get back to 285, and that's going to be a real test, is getting through the cloud at 285 in my opinion. But that buy signal is nice to see, and let's see how the MACD looks. Yeah, MACD is heading up as well. So that's really nice to see, even with this big red day right here, that since the 26th, it has been heading up on the MACD. We just got the buy signal, and the only thing we have to fight now is this resistance cloud. So again, we probably actually will see maybe up to 280, 285 tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised, but I wouldn't expect it to break tomorrow, in my opinion. Let's see how it looks here. All right, so this is our chance though on the 15-minute. This is the chance. If it can go right here, if the stock price can stay here and bounce above 269 and get a nice jump off at this little peak here around 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, if it can start bouncing up around 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, that's going to be our chance to build off of this new support. But if it starts dipping below 269 too hard, we're going to get stuck in consolidation time again, and it's going to have to rebuild, or hopefully rebuild a little bit and spike out, right? But in my opinion, this is a really big test. This huge candle is 285, because look how many people sold out that day. And it's just going to be hard to break that initially. But as you can see, not that long ago, I mean, we had spikes up to 324, up to 334. So it's definitely possible. I mean, that was not that many days ago. It's definitely possible, but there is a bit of work to be done. Let's switch back to the daily really quick. So yeah, there you can see on the daily where those peaks were. So again, it's kind of spooky because the resistance or the support's down here. The sell signal is kind of happening, is going lower, but it very easily could start upturning tomorrow and switching what it's doing. I personally am still waiting. I still think it's going to head down to this 226 range first. I think it needs to refill some of this. But I still think it's going to go down a little bit first. Personally, I think the sell signal is pretty accurate. I think this MACD is pretty accurate. And this is still going down as well. So if you're holding, get ready to average down most likely. But I could be wrong, and it does jump again tomorrow. There's nothing saying that I'm right. You know what I mean? There's just, you know, we can only say so much off these charts. But I just really feel like it's going to go down and test and try to fill some of this gap a little bit more first, guys. Did you have any more questions about XXII? I know that's what some of you were asking about, was to look at this one. Do you have any questions you want me to look at in particular on it? Okay. So it seems like we're all right then on XXII. Yeah, so basically, I still think it's going down. You'll cry. Just average down, don't cry. But again, you had a pretty solid day today, guys. I mean, it did recover away from this. And like I said, I very well could be wrong, and it's time for it to go back up. Like I said, we had this buy signal on the 60-minute. So tomorrow very, very well could go up to 285 or so. We don't know. If 226 hits, what can you expect? I think that you can expect a very, very nice recovery, and that's the reason I will play it if it hits 226, because this stock has so much going for it, and I don't know, they just have so much news in the pipeline that can come, and I think people were just really pissed that the BAT deal didn't go through. So, you know, I just think it'll recover pretty hard off of that, personally. When what? When would it recover, or like when would it hit 226? TVAQ, we can look at TVAQ after the break, man. We're about to take a break here in just a second. We'll take like a 2 to 3 minute break, just so I can like go to the bathroom, get a drink and stuff like that, and then we'll come back. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff coming. When would it hit 226? Oh man, that's hard to say, dude. This thing can have some pretty huge candles. Yeah, it's hard to say. I would imagine the most likely chance will be on Friday, because you'll have your Friday sell-offs. That's the lowest point of the support cloud. And if no news comes out by Friday, even more people are going to be bored of the stock because of the lack of news about the BAT, going through. And Friday, just normal Friday sell-offs. So, yeah, I think that's what'll happen. I would probably honestly wait to average down until Friday and see what the price action's like Friday, unless you see like a huge run and you want to do a little bit in that. Okay. Hey Brandon, we're gonna do live request right after the break. I'll make a new list, and then we'll go do that. I'm gonna take a break right now. Just give me like maybe 2 to 3 minutes or so, and then I'll be back, and then we'll work on that. I'll start editing the list a little bit. Okay, we got our live request things there. All right, guys. So I will be back, and yeah, just give me like 2 3 minutes or so, and I'll be back, guys. Okay. Oh, and if somebody can post that we're doing live requests now on Stocktwits or something, that would be amazing, because I know a lot of people show up for that. You don't have to, but if somebody wants to, that'd be really, really, really cool. All right, guys, I'll be back. Okay, guys. Sorry about that. I had a cheese stick. It was really good. So let's go ahead and let's get that list started. If you guys want to just tell me what the requests are right now, and I'll go ahead and start doing that. Hopefully, is my audio working and everything? Yeah, I think it is. Oh, how do you donate? Well, shoot, if you want to donate, man, you can totally click that PayPal link in the thing. Shoot, I mean, you don't have to, but that would be really awesome, dude. That helps me pay the bills and everything. That would be amazing if you want to. Yes, just a single cheese stick. That's all I had time for. Okay, so the first one I see is Bison. I know ARGS was requested. SPI, TVIAQ. What else we got? NEAT. Okay, we can look at NEAT again. We already did DCTH though, Sotiri. I'm really sorry, man. The DCTH basically was you might get a bounce tomorrow, but it shouldn't be too bad or too much. Don't expect it to go over 10 at all, okay? Oh, it's AVGR, not ARGS. AVGR, that's what it was. Okay, and we got RAD and PMTS. And I did get NEAT on there, don't worry. I got NEAT. Okay, so let's see. I can maybe do a couple more, guys. I can maybe do a couple more than that if you want. It's up to you. ASUR. Okay. Rizwan, I have it pretty high up there. I have TVIAQ as the fourth one. I'm just trying to go in order. Sorry about that, man. I mean, we can do here. I'll do TVIAQ second. That way you can go to sleep, bro. We'll do it right after Bison. Okay. So does that look like a good list right there, guys? I mean, that should be pretty nice. We got plenty of requests going on. You got a puppy and named him Ichimoku? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. If you did that, that would be amazing. Oh, and BIOA? Yeah, I can add BIOA. Okay, so there's our list right now. And I need to start my live stream so it saves, so I can see it. Just a second, guys. Okay, there I got my list saved there. Oh, and DEXTER and FING? Okay, I can add those. That'll probably be pretty good right there. Alright, so we'll start off with that, guys, and we'll work our way through. Alright, let me switch back to E-Trade. Okie dokie. So it looks like first on our list is Bison. I think we looked at this yesterday as well, so it'll be interesting to see. And yeah, it kind of did what we thought. Yesterday, guys. We thought it was going to go down a little bit and kind of reach towards this cloud, and it pretty much did what we thought, guys. The lagging indicator is still a bit above the price. It's kind of right inside it, so it's not really on a positive trend now. 26 periods later. So that leads me to believe that it definitely is going to come down and retest this still. I would not be surprised to see it at 32.71 tomorrow at all, just based on the momentum and what we see here. And it completely just went through the blue line. It didn't even try to bounce off of it at all. So that's kind of spooky to me. And we just got a sell signal on the MACD as well, guys. So unfortunately, it doesn't really look that positive on the daily, unless it can start bouncing back up tomorrow. But let's I kind of want to do a fib on it though, just to see what we get with that. I could use a fib arc, so let's just try that out. You think somebody donated? Well, that's amazing. If somebody donated, thank you so much. Like seriously, I'm doing this. It's I don't expect donations, but it's helping me with bills and stuff, and I'm just trying to get things going and do charts as much as possible. So if you guys donate, thank you so much. You definitely don't have to. Like I like doing this, so it's not a problem at all. That does help with bills and everything, and that's amazing, guys. Thank you so much if somebody did. But yeah, if we look at this fib arc here, yeah, it seems to be just testing it since there. And even without the Ichimoku, I can tell it's just going to want to go down and test some of this. And I really would not be surprised. Oh, is it Neens? Neens, thank you so much. Seriously, thank you. I don't even care. It could have been $1, and thank you so much. I don't even care how much it was or anything. Thank you so much, for real. That's amazing. But yeah, so I really think Bison is going to keep going down and test 3270s again, just looking at this. That fits pretty well with our fib arcs. And let's just test with a fib fan really quickly and see. Yeah, so it's going to be definitely a test tomorrow to see if it can bounce off this and stay. If it bounces off of 34.95 or so, like where it's at right now, if it continues up from where it closed today, I'd say that's okay. It should continue on this trend here. But from the looks of it, it has a lot to retest because of how much green there was. And like I said, we're getting sell signal. And if we go to the 30-minute, I bet it's pretty much the same. Yeah, again, we're below the line here, kind of a sell. RSI is ticking up a little bit though, which is kind of nice. And 1 share of XXII. All right, I'll take it, man. I'll take it. So yeah, I think honestly though, it is going to be retesting this zone here, and I really think it's going to get down to 3271. That's just based on looking at this and looking at the fibs. And let's look at the Ichimoku though, really quickly. You'll donate 1 share of DCTH. Thank you. That's funny. Alright, yeah, and unfortunately, even on the Ichimoku, we're getting those sell signals. We got a sell signal below the cloud. You know, resistance is inside the cloud, so even if it pops up, it's going to have to go inside it to touch that. And again, this just doesn't look very strong to me, guys. I would not want to really hop into this right now. I'd want to see it really starting on another uptrend and testing this gap right here. So yeah, I'm just going to say recommend if you're holding it, you know, you could keep holding it probably, but it's probably going to go down some more, and you may need to average down in my opinion. All right. So after Bison, we had TVIAQ. All right. Okay. So this one here looks like not a lot of volume. It's kind of stagnant on the volume front. You can tell by all these green or the gray going on here. And let's pull up the daily though. Okay. So yeah, this is looking like that other chart we looked at where it had a huge drop and it's just been flat since then. I don't want to recommend this one right now because it's so far below this resistance cloud. Huge gap down, huge separation of the blue and red, and it just hasn't had any support coming back up yet. And even with look at the MACD, even though it's been crawling up this whole time, the price is kind of diverging away from it. So it's not following the MACD at all. It's still going into a sell. And it looks like we're even now, if I put this here, oops. we're pretty much at the lowest still. It's still lower than it was way back here after the initial dip. So it's just not strong enough. Oh, Neens. Oh, no. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. I'm just happy people even look at the charts at all. Seriously, Neens, I appreciate that so much. I really do. Happy to help you guys, for real. This is so much fun for me. So yeah, man. Aram, I believe Aram asked for this, or Rizwan, sorry. Yeah, it's all-time low. It's after a huge dip. That's not good though. You don't want to buy it at its all-time low. You want to see a little bit of recovery, and you want to see at least some sort of buy signal happening here. You know what I mean? So they went OTC. Okay, yeah, so that makes sense of why this happened, right? And it doesn't seem like anybody wants to buy it on OTC right now, man. But let's take the 30-minute and see if we can see anything positive. Alright, so at least today it seems like it's consolidating around here, but again, not a lot of volume. I mean, a lot of hollow candles, a lot of very inactive movement. I would not be happy buying this right now until I at least saw a lot more volume and some buying pressure going upwards, because it seems kind of dead and it seems really stuck. And we had a test here in this resistance cloud and it just could not break it. It just fell right below again. So the odds of it breaking this resistance cloud are pretty low as well. So 1 year target of 150. Yeah, that's going to be based on PR and stuff then, because at least technically right now it needs more volume and stuff, man. It needs some sort of positive pressure in the other direction. So yeah, I would not recommend hopping in it now, but if you're already hopped in, you may be able to get a slight swing over to 70 or so, maybe more like 64. But I wouldn't try to play it much more than 64 or so if you get there, okay? Alright, so next let's... Okay, sorry about that. My headset died there. So let's go ahead and do next. AVGR was next. Has positive earnings per share. I mean, that's good, man. I'm just saying though. Looking at everything, it's just kind of hard to recommend it right now. You know what I mean? Just kind of hard to recommend it. Yeah, no problem, Rizwan. Glad you had a request and dropped by and everything, man. Yeah, see, it's because no sound is coming through the headphones. I'm just talking into it, so it thinks that there's no audio going on, and that's why it turns off after a certain time period. I need to find if there's a way to have an auto turn off or something like that disappear. Okay, but let's take a look at this. No, we haven't done SPI and NEAT yet. SPI is going to be after this one. And yeah, we did Bison. It was the first one after the break, Frank. So you just missed it, man. But yeah, if we look at AVGR here, it's had a crazy spike up, and it's actually kind of held it, which is very nice. A lot of times when you see huge spike ups like this, they crash pretty hard, and it doesn't hold at all. But we had a whole another day of consolidation here, which is really nice. And the stock price here, again, we're still well above. Very positive trend. The one thing that is slightly worrying is the RSI is starting to turn down and the MACD is starting to turn down. But it very easily could turn back up because of where this is at. Because this could very easily just go a little bit below and pop back up. Especially if this consolidates well and the blue line keeps going away. But seeing it dip down a little bit like that and seeing these go are a little scary. But that is on the 30-minute. Let's see how it looks on the daily. Okay, so you can see on the daily here, it's right in the middle of this resistance cloud. So it's going to be very important that it breaks this cloud pretty soon. I mean, it did right here at the top, which is very nice. It went all the way up to 62 cents, right? So we're going to want to see that happen again relatively soon. Is it too late to request? No, I can request. What we'll do is when I get to the end of this list, if I'm still filling up to it, I'll take some more requests. We still have about like 6 or 7 to go through. And then when we get to the end of that, I'll take a couple more requests probably if I saw the energy vengeful. But most likely we can get to it though. We'll see how I'm feeling. I may take like another small break or something first if we do that. Just get some more water or something. Stocktwits should compensate me. Yeah, right. I don't know about that. I mean, we'll see, but I seriously doubt they compensate anybody on that site. Yeah, but again, it did test above here, and we're gonna really want to see that happen again tomorrow. But as you can see, it tested basically the whole range of this resistance cloud today. So more than likely than not, it's gonna consolidate for a bit. But with how crazy this jump was, it just as easily could pop out of the top. You know what I mean? Like it's really hard to say still on the chart because we have so little data. But if we go to the 30-minute again, you can see here, I mean, just huge candle. And normally after a huge candle like that, one second. Normally after a huge candle like that, you know, it's going to dip really hard, especially after a dump here, or after a jump here. So seeing it consolidating up and not dipping except for right here below this green candle, that's really nice to see. That gives me a lot of confidence that this could be a new support and building up. And in that case, it would break that resistance cloud. I would be a little bit worried if you see it around 38 cents though. And, you know, just maybe be a little safe if you see it around 38.30. It might be dipping down further. It just depends on how quickly it rejects that 38 zone. But it's very possible we'll see 38 tomorrow and it'll bounce up. But I'm really hoping it stays above this red line at 42 and we just start building our support right there and it just keeps going up. But again, it's kind of hard to say just because of how crazy the chart jump is, you know what I mean? But we did end in a green candle, it looks like. RSI is tipping up a little bit on the 15-minute. And MACD is still going down though, but you know, with the stock this crazy, it's hard to say. Tim Sykes. Made Tim Sykes money today, huh? Alright. Oh, hey, Blessing. Welcome into the live stream, man. We're in part 2 now, so we just made a list of live requests, and we're running through those right now. So, so yeah, guys, just be careful if you see it dipping below this green candle right here at 38. And you may want to set a stop loss around 38 or so, just in case. But it very well can just keep consolidating and go up from here. It's very hard for me to say on this one. But I think if you're in it, you're probably all right. I don't think it's going to crash. But you just need to be a little bit careful if it does get too low. That's all I'll say. You know what I mean? But I think it has a really good chance of just consolidating and going back up and then beating the top of this cloud over here, in my opinion. So, all right. Hopefully that helped for AVGR. Now we're going to do SPI. And SPI, I'm just going to immediately say I don't really want any part of this. This jump down here, we're talking $46 down to 11 cents. Am I seeing that correctly, guys? Yeah, like, that's crazy, right? 46 down to 11. So, yeah, they screwed something up major. And there's no volume. Look at all these hollow candles. Yeah, I don't even want to chart it anymore, guys. Don't buy SPI. That's all I gotta say. Sorry. I'm really sorry. It's not something I want to be a part of that just dropped that hard and is not doing anything. So let's go ahead and pull up NEAT again. I think we looked at it a little bit earlier, but we can look at it really quickly again. So with NEAT, it seems to be consolidating at the they hired Ginny. Yeah, that might be what happened. Shoot. Seems to be consolidating around $1. It needs to stay above $1 for 10 days to stay listed, so this may be the start of it. It may not be, but it very well may be. It did close exactly at $1 today. Yeah, Jigglypuff, that's not a bad idea, man. I've been looking at more expensive ones myself. It just depends on your risk tolerance and all that, man. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with going $5 plus stocks and playing those. We looked at plenty today. I mean, we've looked at Goodyear before. We looked at, you know, Square, tons of that. So definitely recommend non-penny stocks and stuff to me too, because I will always look at those. I mean, we looked at $70 stocks. We looked at $30 stocks. You know what I mean? So they're all welcome here. Don't think that we only look at penny stocks. Just those are the most active on Stocktwits, so that's normally what we get the most requests for. So, but again, on this, just really quickly, I think it's going to be consolidating and then hopefully bouncing off this $1 cloud over here. And that's just really what I think. But my hope is that it actually starts going up again tomorrow. That way our lagging indicator can go back above the stock price and keep us in positive trend. But if you look at the MACD, it is going down. If you look at this, it is going down. So it very well could be cooling off, but with stocks like this, it's hard to say. We did have a nice quick run through the cloud here. So it very well could just reject off this cloud as well. It's hard to say. And if we pull up the 60-minute, it looks even better because it's all green clouds. This is plenty above where we were, right? This is still deviating away. MACD is still kind of heading up, if not slowing down a little bit though. So it's just kind of, you know, however you want to do it. I'm personally holding this one. I'm in at $1.04. I think it'll go back up there just fine, personally. Worst case, I might have to do a quick sell, get rid of it, but I don't think that'll happen necessarily. And I went ahead and put a link to the Discord in chat. So if you're not a part of the Discord, feel free to come in. And that's where we do the video requests. That's where we get the list from for the first part of stream. And that's just the best place to go. That's where we chat for everything, and that's where we do all our due diligence and everything like that. So yeah, no, we have something for everyone, man, for sure. Yeah, no, that's what we try to do. We don't want to just stick in one thing, right? That's the quickest way to lose money, is say, I only do this, right? Say, I'm only a day trader. I'm only a swing trader. I'm only a penny stock player. Well, the market isn't only anything. You know what I mean? There's going to be days where bios are what you play. There's going to be days where commodities are what you play. It's you follow the market. You don't say, I am something. You know what I mean? Plus, we do drugs. Oh my God, no, we don't. We don't do drugs in live chat. That's really funny though. But again, you can see it's just bouncing off $1 here, just continuously, building really nice support there. I think it's just going to keep consolidating there for a while and hopefully just eventually jump up. We just got to see what this blue line keeps doing. And again, we had it come up towards us again some more today, so that's really nice. And even on the 30-minute, see, 30 minutes where you can see a little bit more of the selling signal kind of happening, but we're still around $1. So it's really hard to say, especially with the red coming up with it. It's hard to say. It may continue to go into sell tomorrow, but it may go back up. That's just something I'm going to have to watch really closely tomorrow morning. All right, so now let's do BW. All right, so it looks like this one had a very big gap down here on the 26th. Not a very friendly gap down, but it did have a really, really nice price rejection here at 275. It seems though now we did get a bit of a buy signal here today around 311, where this line is crossing, but we're gonna have to come up and beat this resistance again. But with how strong the price rejection is, and with this MACD crossover and the RSI going up, I think this actually might be a pretty easy swing play. You might be able to swing it pretty nicely from 325 to 346. A nice little in and out there. but I'm not sure I would want to play with this resistance cloud, because if you look at just how long it's been stagnant there, it probably will want to consolidate or reject that again, in my opinion. But we'll have to see on the daily what it looks like. They had bad news. It turned out to not be so bad. Okay. Well, then that makes sense that it would start creeping back up, right? But it looks like, yeah, so August 10th was that huge dip. But if you look, this last candle here today, look at this last candle today, guys. That's not a good sign. It dipped below the end of this big red candle over here. So we should not be retesting that right now. That's not something we should be doing. But we're technically on a positive trend from right after, but I really think we should be above this right now. And that leads me to believe that even if it's going up, it's going to still hit this cloud and go down. And if you look, our blue line is already headed down again, along with the RSI. So it's kind of hard for me to recommend jumping in now, but if you are in, you may still get a nice little pop up to 428 or so, maybe. But my odds, in my head, I'm thinking that 386 is probably going to be more like your peak. You know, something around the top of these candles here, because it does not seem to want to get out of this zone. I mean, even with this buy signal right here, look how flat it stayed. Yeah, I think it's going to take some time for it to recover and really go back up, because that is such a huge drop. You know what I mean? We're talking $10 basically down to $2. So I don't really want to recommend it right now. But if it can bust through this cloud and start building again, then I'd be a little bit happier. But as of right now, it just looks a little too scary for me. And yeah, this is such a sharp recovery though. That's really nice. But I don't know how sustainable. Remember, we talked about really sharp angles going inclined. I don't know how sustainable that is. Okay? So just keep an eye on it. It may be good, but as of right now, I just want to see a lot more recovery first. Alrighty. And let's take a look at RAD now. And I'll actually put in the chat what's coming up after RAD. After RAD, we have PMTS, we have ASUR, we have BIOA, DEXTER, and FING. Those are going to be the ones coming up. Okay. So let's see what we got here on RAD. Let's go back to the daily. Wow, so that's quite a huge resistance cloud. That is a huge resistance cloud, guys. And we're on a sell signal on the daily. Stochastic's going down. The red is about to meet. We're about to get a sell signal inside a resistance cloud. So that's kind of spooky on this daily. Yeah, I can check the weekly on it in just a second for sure. Because right now this daily does not look good to me, guys. Look, this is all resistance cloud, basically. That's all resistance. But let's go ahead and pull up the weekly and see. Yeah, so again on the weekly, it doesn't look any better really to me. It's starting to level off a little bit on this, but it's still, I mean, it's going to take weeks for that blue line to come up and meet the red, and then you're still going to have a huge resistance cloud to go through. But I mean, it at least does have slight increase right here on the MACD. Stochastic's going up a little bit, but it just got another sell signal again right here. So again, we're testing lower than we need to. I mean, on the weekly, we're basically at a new low. Let's go back to the daily. Yeah, I mean, look where the end of this candle is, and we've like basically quadruple bottomed this, and it's still not past it. I mean, you want to see like a double bottom, okay, triple bottom, okay, but for it to be this long on the same price and not going up, and then now we're in a resistance cloud too, that's not good to me. This doesn't look like something I want to hop in. Not until it's getting recovery, and maybe not even until it's testing this gap zone again around like 309. This is just a little too scary for me, guys. I mean, we're talking a lot of red right there, and we're talking a lot of down and not a lot of spike. we had one spike after, and then we had a sell-off, right? And as soon as we got a spike again to that same level, right here and right here, we had to sell off again. So you might be able to swing and play it. You know, you might be able to get in at 225 and swing it up to a little bit in the cloud, around 248 or so. But again, this does not look like a super positive, I'm going to bust through the cloud type of thing. You know what I mean? So, oh, BW weekly chart. Sorry, man. Yeah, I'll go check it really quick. Yeah, I mean, you had the huge dip here, dip down here. Yeah, man, I don't like it. Look at this, man. Just huge dip, consolidation, couldn't bust up. Huge dip and consolidation. I bet you $25 that it goes back down again. I bet you $20. It just right back down. So, and another huge dip here. So it's stair-stepping the wrong way, man. It's just not good. It's just not good. All right, so we're going to pull up PMTS now. All right, and we're looking at basically the same thing we just saw on that BW chart. Huge dip, consolidation that didn't quite work. Dip, consolidation that didn't quite work. Dip, consolidation that didn't quite work, and a dip. So again, another chart that's stair-stepping the wrong way, guys. Let's check it out on the daily. Yeah, by the way, I never give shorting advice because I'm not a shorter. I like to be a bull. I like to be on the positive side. So if I'm saying it's going down, take it as a short call, right? But I'm never going to say, hey, short this stock, because I don't recommend shorts. It's not something I do personally. But you definitely might be able to short that. I just don't know how far because it's kind of staying at the same price. Hey, Dre Day, what's up, man? Welcome, dude. I'm really happy you're here, man. Awesome. All right, so let's see what we got here. Yeah, so even on the daily here, another stock with a huge gap down. You guys keep bringing me these huge gap downs and consolidations. So, I mean, it's technically a little bit on a positive trend from 26 days ago, 26 periods back. But I don't know how sustainable it is because, again, our buy signal is right here, right? But if you look, we're below the cloud, so it's not that strong. But stochastic has been steadily going up. And this is kind of a hidden bullish deviation. What that means is when the stock price is kind of like, it's kind of going down or steady. The stochastic is, oh man, thing's going crazy. But the stochastic is going up. So it's a little bit opposite. So it might be a little bit bullish, but the stock price should be reflecting it a bit more. But Frank, I'm happy to see you, Frank. I'm happy to see everybody here. I really am. But yeah, so this looks a little scary to me too. I'd want to see it getting up to test this gap range right here first. I hate that I keep having to say this, I wish that these weren't charts that keep showing this, but we keep getting charts with huge resistances that they're about to have to go through. And those are not ones I want to recommend to you guys. Like, maybe short swing plays, you know what I mean? Like 123 to 158 or something below the cloud. But I don't want to tell you to buy something with the buy signal below the cloud headed into such resistance. But I don't think that this is a short either, because if you look, the price has pretty much bottomed out, right? So, I mean, your short that you, like, at most you might want to be able to do is maybe 127 to 86. And that's even assuming it gets back to a period back in August. So, again, it's risky both ways. I just don't like how it looks. It's too stagnant. It had too big of a gap. And I don't like where the buy signal is. But yeah, like I said, it might be good for a swing. You might be able to do like 123 to like 157 or so. But as soon as it hits that resistance, it may be time to sell. You're going to have to be very careful about it. It depends on how strongly it goes through and if it's going to be strong enough to bust through a cloud. But I mean, if we look at the 60-minute here, it looks a lot stronger, right? So you just have to remember, though, on the daily, at where that resistance is above, even though it looks so strong on the daily or on the 60-minute, you got to keep in mind both time sets. You know what I mean? Frank, I'm looking forward to the book, man. All right, so again, this does look really strong for a swing play, like you said in chat. Just try to buy as much of a dip you can, maybe 115 or so, and then see if you can play that into the resistance cloud on the daily, you know, up to right around here, so around 145. So you may be able to get a nice 30-cent swing out of it. But again, it's a little bit risky just of where it's at. But I'd say I'm about 60% sure you might be able to get a good swing out of it. You know what I mean? So, but I don't want to recommend it, like I said, because I don't want to recommend stocks that are headed straight into huge clouds like this. But if, you know, at your own risk, you might be able to get a good swing out of it. Alrighty, next up is ASUR. Alright, ASUR Therapeutics. Okay, so initially my thoughts on the daily are this looks really nice. It's busted through this cloud, not too hard. I mean, it didn't take too long, I mean. It did dip right below it, so it did retest these candles back here. But it's on a very nice positive trend now. The red is getting really close though up to the blue. That could signal that there might be a sell signal soon. This may be too strong of an increase, but our lagging indicator is great. It's above the stock price. And let's see what we got here. So way back on July 5th is what we're about to retest now. So I would say that if this, we're at about 1305 right now. If that can break through the top of this July candle, go up to like $15, I'd say that's super strong. But until then, it's a little bit spooky. But I would recommend this one more than the other one that we went through, just because it's already passed through this resistance cloud, and that's pretty nice. So I don't know. It seems pretty good to me, actually. I kind of want to see a fib on this. Do another fib fan. All right, let's see here. Okay, that looks about right there. Okay, so yeah, so unnatural spike, kind of cycling below, really hard dip below here, and now we're testing back up to those. Okay, so yeah, so it's going to be, I think tomorrow is really going to be the test for this one. If it can break through this fib line right here tomorrow, and you know, go up to around 1340 or so, I'd say that's very strong for it to continue. But it just as easily could reject it like it did here and here. It could very easily reject it and head back down and start cycling here. So I wouldn't bank too much on it being a big gain tomorrow, but if it does gain, it should break this fib line all right and maybe go up to like 1340 or so. But my guess personally is that it's probably going to go back down and test this a little bit, maybe around like 1152 or so. That's no guarantee, mind you, but I just feel like it might test the bottom of this candle again and reject this here. But who knows, it could be time for it to pop over again. You know what I mean? Can I look back for a few months? Yeah, let's do that. We can, we'll do 6-month chart here. There's a yearly chart, right? So as you can see, we had this huge spike in July. I keep having the wrong tool out. We had a huge spike in July, and it hadn't done that before the whole year, and we're just now approaching it again. So it does look a lot stronger on the year chart, because as you can see, we have a positive trend. We have a positive trend going since like about right here. Actually, really more like back here on this MACD crossing area. Yeah, so it seems to be following that pretty nicely. As again, like you can see though, it really likes to test this lower part of it, and that's the reason I think that it might go down and test a little bit more. But like I said, it just as easily could go back up here and start testing that 15 range like we had with these huge parachutes right here. So just keep an eye out, and if you're in it, stay in it. If you're not in it, wait for a dip. That's my opinion. I think it's a good hold, but not quite a buy yet, in my opinion. But let's pull up we have the daily, but let's pull up just really quickly the 30-minute Ichimoku. You're skipping TV to watch me? Wow, Jigglypuff. Thanks, man. Yeah, so let's see here. So yeah, the 30-minute, it looks a little bit better. And it looks like it could keep going up, guys. Just keep an eye on this blue line. Let's just make sure that it keeps following it. Doesn't get inside the zone in between the lines. And I think you're going to be okay, okay? Alright, so after ASUR, we got BIOA. No problem, Moonman. Absolutely. And I can't believe you guys are skipping TV to watch this. That's amazing. Alright, now let's see what we got here. Now this is BIOA on the 30-minute, but let's go to the daily. Okay, so this is another one of those ones that I'm not happy about. Huge gap down and consolidation. This is not what we want to see, guys. We don't want to see this. We want to see a gap down with a price rejection at best. And this is such a hard gap down. And again, consolidation, and it's another one where it's just now barely getting that buy signal going up. But if you look, the stochastic's going down, right? So that's following this price pretty well, and I think it's going to keep following it. And again, you're going to have to go into a huge resistance cloud, you know what I mean? So again, this is one that we're going to want to see that positive price movement. You may be able to get a swing out of it, a small one, but it's not one that I would bank on, because if you look, since August 8th, it's been basically the same price, guys. That's really difficult for me to suggest. But again, you might be able to get a small swing out of it. You know, maybe 52 to 84 on a good day. But let's pull up the volume really quick. Yeah, and if you look, volume's not been that strong, but it did recently. And the price hasn't really reflected it yet that much. Seems like there's not a lot of interest in this one. Yeah, I used to watch Survivor all the time. I remember the first few seasons of that. It was pretty intense. But yeah, no, this is not one I'd recommend to hop in, guys. I'm pretty good with this chart. I mean, I think that's pretty much all we need to see. It's just too much. What is the CLUD? Are you talking about the cloud? That's the Ichimoku cloud. I've used Bollinger Bands before. I honestly don't study them too much. They are a good indicator for a lot of people, but it just depends on how you read charts and stuff. A lot of people like them, a lot of people don't. I think they just give too much of a range for me. And I prefer the Ichimoku and Fibs personally, but there's nothing wrong with Bollinger Bands, especially times like this where you can see it squeezing. So it might be squeezing and ready for a pop, because when Bollinger Bands, squeeze together, that's generally when change is about to happen. So you may get something like this again, because it's an even tighter squeeze now. So, I mean, it's very possible it could pop soon, but it's just, I don't use Bollingers that much personally, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with Bollingers, and we will do some Bollinger classes as well on the YouTube. We'll do some things for everything. But yeah, no problems, man. So let's take a look at the next one, which is DEXTER. Bless you. That's funny. Let's take a look at this and let's zoom out a bit. All right, and we're looking at kind of the same thing here, guys. Another big drop and just consolidation, consolidation, consolidation. I don't like seeing this, but when you zoom in, it's looking a little bit better, like a little bit more action. But again, still, there's so much more work to be done to be building back to this. The stochastic is on a nice upswing. MACD unfortunately isn't though. Huge red candle here. Yeah, it's a little bit scary. I mean, the day today was okay, but it's a little bit scary to see such a huge red candle after all of this going down and erasing basically all of this work that was done right here. Basically all this work is gone. But let's take a look at the Ichimoku. And yeah, you want to use as many indicators as you can all the time, for sure. It goes really well with the RSI and really well with stochastic, for sure. And yeah, so let's see here. Huge red cloud. Did bust through it. But this is when it busts through the red like this, you want to see it continuing strength. And we did not get that. It broke away from the blue line very hard. And we got into a sell signal. And it's dipping below the cloud now. So at best, it's going to be consolidating in this cloud going forward. But most likely it's going to be rejecting off the bottom of it in my mind. It just seems a little scary. Yeah, I would bet 28 cents, 29 cents is going to be huge resistance, and it's going to consolidate between there and 30 cents for some time. And once it breaks out of that, it has a chance. But again, it's just been so stagnant, it's hard to say. It's just hard to say. Yeah, it's kind of like the MACD. It's a little bit, I thought it was calculated a little bit differently though, because it's a 9-day high and low divided by 2. And 26-day high and low divided by 2. So it's pretty much like the MACD, but it's a little bit different, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Andreas. But yeah, no, it's a great indicator. Great indicator. But yeah, so this one I'm a little scared of. I wouldn't want to recommend it right now. I'd want to see it busting above this green cloud again and really testing up here. I don't really recommend this one right now, guys. I know it has a lot of following on, man, don't say McDonald's, I'm hungry right now. I don't even like McDonald's and it sounds okay. But yeah, no, this is just a little too flaky for me. And I know it's been on Stocktwits forever. And ever since I've been watching on Stocktwits, it's been about the same price in my watch list. Like it'll be up 10 cents, down 10 cents. Up 5 cents, down 5 cents. It's just basically a nothing stock to me. And with this sell signal here and dipping below the cloud, that's just not very confidence making. Yeah, and even on the 30-minute, normally the 30 minutes where we'll see nice upswings. And look, it's just consolidating. It's flat, dipping, consolidating. So I can't recommend this one right now. And especially because it's dipping so far below, where we were before. I mean, look how far back we have to go on the 30-minute, you know what I mean? We're testing below stuff way back in August 16th. So yeah, it's pretty much a nothing burger. So let's pull up FING now. And we'll switch back to the daily chart. Okay, so this one looks a little bit more positive to me. The decline that we had here wasn't an instant drop. It's kind of a steady, nice decline, which means probably just like no news, no information happening, stuff like that. And then we got crazy news, and it's launched completely. This kind of reminds me of the NEAT stock that we just watched, that we looked at. Kind of the same daily chart going on here. This is really nice to see. Even though it's a red candle, the blue line is still sharply going up. It's going against the stochastic though, so that's kind of a bullish indicator right there. If the stochastic's going down, but the stock's going up, that can be a hidden bullish deviation. So it is possible, but we do have a sell signal on the MACD right there. But let's check out the 30-minute, or the 60-minute rather. Alright, so yeah, and that's what we're seeing right now, guys. We're just in this consolidation cloud right now. We need to see what happens when it gets to the end of it and see if it's going to bust out above or below. But yeah, being consolidating right here is not that bad. It just all depends on where the next buy signal happens and how close to the top that it is here. I'd say it's probably honestly a safe buy because it is in consolidation. Probably buy it near the bottom of the cloud here, but it still needs to do work to get out of the cloud. But yeah, it's probably a safe buy in terms of buying it for, you know, a longer swing, you know, maybe into the middle of October. But it's definitely going to be a risk either way, especially with the lagging indicator still below. Sell signal for quite a while and didn't turn into a buy signal. It kept going down. So it's a little bit risky, but the consolidation might pay off here and it might turn into a buy eventually that way. But we'll go ahead and do a fibs on this. And let's see how it's testing those trend lines. No, it's probably more like this. Alright, that looks pretty good, guys. Yeah, so we had the testing up in here, cross, and then it's just been kind of sideways in this fan right here. And again, so we just dipped into this lower fan. That makes me a little uncomfortable. So it does seem like that consolidation actually will happen. And it's just going to kind of follow this fan zone. If you remember, the cloud kind of ended right here. So it'll be interesting to see what it does in this fan zone. I honestly think that it will go down just a little bit more before it starts going up. I mean, we got our sell, everything right here. We're below right here. So it's a little bit tricky to say, honestly. Let me pull up, let me do one right here from this peak. Okay. Yeah, and if you look at the trend here, now's the time for it to test, right? Because it's been basically trying to beat this lower trend, and it's getting into a corner right here. And when it gets into corners, that's really where it's going to start testing stuff. So yeah, sometime tomorrow is going to be when you know if it's going to be going down more or up more. So it's just kind of tricky on this one, but I really do think it's just going to consolidate a little bit sideways, and most likely test this bottom upper line going up. But there's no guarantee, of course, that that'll happen. Are you only giving one XXII? I'm not sure what that means. You bought this today? Well, I think it looks alright, man. I think it's going to consolidate. I think it should consolidate around 575. Because as you can see, if I go back to my horizontal, it's triple bottomed right here, right? So it should be, and that also is a perfect intersection right here on these fibs from the trend, 575, with the triple bottom. So it most likely is just going to consolidate sideways, and hopefully tomorrow is when it starts that uptrend again. I'd really like you, if you could message me tomorrow and let me know what happened, that'd be great. I'd really like to see how this one ends up. So, but hopefully that helps with this one. We'll go back to the daily here really quick. Yeah, so it's at the crosses there, and yeah, so on the daily it's about the same. It's like 573 or so. So you'll probably see a little bit 573, 570. But it should hopefully start bouncing up and continuing this uptrend, in my opinion. All right, guys. Well, that was actually our whole request list. I could probably take like one or two more if you guys want. Oh, and again, let me get the Discord link again, just in case there's anybody new. And just in case you're not in the Discord, here you go. Okay, so I see, just 1 second, I see OPGIN. We already did SYIN twice, RM, I'm sorry.
but we already went through it twice, so I'm not going to jump back on that one right now. So OPGIN, let's do that really quick. And then we'll do MARA and IPCI and VSELL. That's all I got time for, probably. Oh, you guys still want a lot. I'm surprised you guys are still here, still ready. Let me go to my text here. So we got, what were our requests again? We got, hold on. OPGN, IPCI, MARA, VSELL, IDXG, INPX. Alright, and that'll be all I do. And then Nvidia and AMD. Alright, that's going to be all I got time for right there. That should be plenty. That's going to put us at like 3.5 hours probably, guys. Somebody send me a pepperoni sausage. I'm hungry. I'm starving, guys. Alright, let me go back to our scene here. Okay, so we got, thanks JCog, appreciate that, man. Alright, so we got the OPGN going on. Huge green candle on the daily, that's really nice. But again, we got quite a steady decline, and it's been pretty stagnant though. So not a whole lot going on the daily here. But the that last green candle for today was pretty nice. So this may be something, we're going to zoom in and look at this for like a swing play, like a short swing play. Ah, no problem, Jiggly, man. That's what I'm here for. You guys are here watching, so I should help you guys out, right? I appreciate it. And let's see here. Oh, I'm enjoying this though, Andreas. Don't worry about it, man. The only tiring part is my throat, which after the OPGN, if you guys don't mind waiting 1 minute, I'm gonna take a short break and get some water, and then I'll be back to do your other request, okay? I just need to get some more water. I drink all the water I have. And I'll put the list back up when I go on break so you guys can see what's coming up, okay? But let's go ahead and do a little bit of Ichimoku on this again. I had a cheese stick, but damn, it wasn't enough, man. It was not enough. Alright, yeah, this is what I was afraid of with that huge candle. I didn't think it was sustainable. And if you look, it is right at the beginning. Torian, you don't have to send me a pizza, dude. It's all good. I was just joking. I got some, like, chicken nuggets or something. Oh, gross, Frank. That's nasty, dog. That's nasty. That's nasty. Alright. But yeah, no, this just immediately went into the cloud. It could be a great sign that it's a bicycle right inside it. It could go up through this and smash through, but just looking at how long it's just been the same price, it makes me really hard to think it will. But that's some really strong resistance right here. You know what I mean? My bet is that this huge candle is unsustainable and that we dip back down below to like 28 again. That's my bet. But let's see how it looks on the 30-minute. Alright, so it does look a lot better on the 30-minute, and this is where that huge candle came into play, right? So it is nicely moving away. It's got this going on. We're still steady on the MACD and the stochastic, so it may be time to bust through that resistance cloud. This could keep going. The lagging indicator is nicely above. So everything looks pretty nice on the 30-minute. It's just that huge cloud on the daily makes me worried that it's not going to bust through it. But on the 60-minute, we did bust through the cloud and consolidated on the 60-minute. So it seems to me like it's going to go through, it's going to be in that daily cloud and just consolidate sideways again, based on what we're looking at here. Yeah, I mean, it just looks like it's going to be doing the same. It's going to consolidate through this cloud, in my opinion. But we can do a really quick fib fan on it, though, before I go on break. Where's the buttons I need? There we go. Okay. So yeah, that's really nice, though, that it jumped out of this zone and tested the top of here. That's really nice. Hopefully you can get back in this upper fan zone, and then that would be where consolidation would start. Somebody asked what I charted in or something. Yeah, E-Trade's what I'm charting in. Sorry, I probably miss like so many of your messages. I'm sorry, guys. I do my best to read them while I'm talking, but so yeah. Yeah, if you guys come up with a scale, that'd be great. That'd be great. We can do something like that. That'd be funny. But yeah, so I think I think this is unsustainable initially, right? But looking at the fib, it may bounce up and test this zone before consolidating. It's just really hard to say with huge daily candles like this that it won't test down at least halfway tomorrow. So I wouldn't be surprised to see like 3250 or something like that, and do that. So a best of the night vote. Yeah, we should have a best of the night vote at the end. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Yeah. You guys will just have to remember because I forget them after I do them. As soon as I move on to the next chart, I already forgot. So. But yeah, so just be careful tomorrow. I think it's going to be, I think it's going to dip back at least halfway on this candle to like 32 or so. And then we'll start going back up. But it does look pretty healthy. Even though it's after a huge dip like this, I kind of like how it's testing and sine waving around here. It's just a little too low for me to want to buy it. But if you're looking to buy it, I wouldn't fault you. I mean, if you look at the trend here, and then how it's popping up there, it's about to cross and everything there nicely. So it really could be time for the next consolidation. But my bet, guys, is that it goes through this down wavy thing here and then goes a little sideways like that. Let's see if I can draw that a little bit. Yeah, so I'm thinking it's going to do something like this. And then it's going to go like sideways like that. That's my guess. But we'll see what happens. It doesn't look too unhealthy, but it doesn't look too positive either, in my opinion. It just seems like it has a lot of work to do. Yeah, that's just... Yeah, it seems like it's going to take some time, guys. But it very well, like I said, it very well could go up and test this, and then ride along in here, and then go up on this new trend. But I don't really have a recommended buy or sell point for this one. I would want to watch it longer personally and see it try to beat this peak over here at 35 and see how it tests 35 and goes from there. So, but all right, guys. Well, I need to just take a short break though. I'm gonna take a short break and get some water and go to the restroom and all that. So let me put those back up. We did a few of those already though, but you guys know which ones we did. We just did OPG, and actually that's the only one, my bad. So let me, yeah, I'll be right back, guys. Just give me a couple minutes and we'll do the rest of these requests, okay, guys? Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. Hold on just 1 second. Okay, got a brewski. Okay, so we're gonna do something a little bit different for this next part. For the rest of these requests, I'll see if so. Who requested IPCI? Because if you want, when I pull it up, you can ask me if there's a certain indicator you want to see or something like that, and I'll gladly do it. Some sponsors? Man, I have no idea how I'd go about getting sponsors, Torian. Well, Vengeful, is there a certain thing you want to see on this chart that you're looking at? Free beers for days. Yeah, that'd be nice. I don't really drink beer that much that often, except for since DCTH. Okay, alright, Vengeful. Oh shit, thanks, Torian. That'd be amazing. Okay, so let's see what we see here. I'll say initially on IPCI, this looks very strong. Especially after this dipping and everything, it does not look that bad. My only issue is it looks kind of low volume. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. I like a little bit more of volume. I'm actually drinking an Easy Peasy IPA. It's from Deep Ellum Brewing. It's in downtown Texas here. And they're actually a pretty good local brewery. So I like to support the local guys when I can, you know? A little bit more expensive, but I don't drink that much, so why not, right? Keystone. Yeah, I'll drink some water. But yeah, no, this looks pretty strong to me, actually, for this last initial bit since the 25th. Let's see how it looks on the daily. Yeah, so 3 really strong daily candles. Nice dojis there. But again, this is a little worrying. These huge gap downs are worrying. But I did like how it's recovering right here at the end. MACD is shaping up. Stochastic is shaping up. And that's going up as well. But it's a little spooky with that. I don't know how long it'll take for it to test. I mean, we're talking 180 over here. And we're at what now? 116. The only thing that's slightly worrying about this last candle is it didn't hit a peak quite as high as the one 2 days before. But you might be able to swing this up to 180 from 116. Let's take a look at the Ichi. Oh, sorry, you can't see the screen. My bad. There we go. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for telling me. Yeah, so what we're looking at here, what I was talking about. Yeah, I fixed it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, you're good. You're good. No, I forgot to switch the scene back over to E-Trade. That's my bad. The chart. Yeah, can't see the chart. That's really funny. Okay, so yeah, so we got it going here. We got the huge gap down, and that's why I think that that's what you're gonna have to retest first. But if you look where this candle is, it's right in the middle of this resistance cloud, so you're gonna have a bit of work to get to it. I'm already drunk. This is gonna be my first beer. Actually, my only beer. I don't have any more. I only have this one. So, but yeah, I think you might be able to get a nice little swing, 116 to 142, assuming that this buy signal continues and it keeps going up. Again, not a guarantee, but that very well could happen. It looks like it has some nice momentum coming on the MACD now. RSI is going up, Stochastic's going up. Let's go back to the 30-minute. Yeah, but we got a little bit of down action on the 30-minute at the end of the day here. So yeah, so it's a little bit worrisome. It does have a bit that it could test down here. But if the next few candles, if it opens up and it gets above this 116 range and it starts going up, I'd say it might be pretty solid for a buy because we do have a positive trend going on right here. So just keep an eye out, see if it breaks 116. And if it does, maybe buy it and see. But my guess is that it will probably test down a little bit first. And then, like I said on the other chart, we'll look at the 60-minute though now. Yeah, so again, it's leveling off on the 60-minute. But if we go to the daily, so again, got a lot of resistance up there. So just be a little bit careful. But if this positive trend continues, you might be able to play it for a swing for sure. Do I ever show myself on cam? I could. I think I have a webcam somewhere, but you guys don't want to look at me. I'm just sitting in a chair. Like, that'd be really boring. So, I don't know. You guys don't want to see me sipping on beer and stuff. That'd be boring. Oh, awesome. You've been watching it for 116? Well, that's perfect, man. That's exactly what I was looking at. Yeah, totally. You got it, Vengeful. Alright, so our next one after IPCI is Mara. Who requested Mara? You'd watch another grown man sip on beer? That's funny. No, VSELL is going to be right after Mara, Jonathan. You didn't miss it. So yeah, Moonman, what are you looking at for Mara? What are your goals with it? Are you already bought in? Are you looking to buy? Okay. Have you bought in yet, or like, okay, looking to buy? Okay. All right. Well, if we look at the daily here, it's actually looking really nice. I actually played Mara back here, back in June. I sold it a little too early though, but I did play it back in June. So it is on a positive uptrend for sure. We had a chance for a sell signal right here, and it rejected it pretty darn well. We got a buy on this MACD. Stochastic's still going up. The only thing that worries me on the daily is it's getting a little hot on the RSI. But as of right now, it actually looks really positive. It rejected this resistance cloud very well. This like very easily could have went in and dipped down very easily. But definitely on a positive trend, man. And if there's a dip or not happening, possible? Well, there's always a possible dip. But I would say that, let's see, because this red candle at the end of the day hit the blue line, right? But it consolidated above it. And we've been riding the blue line very well. So if we get a dip, I don't think it'll be much. It may actually just be inside the line zone like that, maybe at 48 or so. But I don't think you're going to dip much more below 48 because it seems to have filled pretty well. It's gone back. It's tested this huge green candle and filled it out. And then this candle is pretty much filled out this run. So I think at most you'd probably get a dip to like 46.99. But that's what I would try to buy at, maybe 47 to 48. And then try to run it up. Just have a really tight stop loss because if it gets this low, it could really dip further to the support line. But yeah, I think 48 or so, maybe 48, 47. Yeah, 46.5, something like that. You may retest this area here because it did go on a nice run. But again, I think it did fill kind of okay, but not all the way. So I think tomorrow would be a sell-off day. But if you see it dipping below 46.64, below 46.5, that's a little spooky to me, and that means that it might go back and retest this. Okay, man. But let's see how it looks at the 60-minute. Yeah, so it's basically the same on the 60-minute, man. Look for around 46 cents or so. And if you're dipping too hard below 46, it may be a little spooky, okay? All right. So let's look at VSELL now. And I think Jonathan, you requested VSELL, right? No problem at all, Moon Man. Absolutely, dude. Happy to help you guys out. Looking to buy? Okay. Alright. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Let's go back to our daily. Oh, no problem at all, Jonathan, dude. You know I'm here. Alright, so this looks really good on the daily, actually, Jonathan. I like this a lot. It's done some really nice consolidation. Rejected the cloud. Went straight into a buy signal after rejecting the cloud. And it's been on a steady, bigger deviation since it happened. Am I Moondog? Oh, it's Moon Man. Okay, I thought you were asking me. I'm like, no, I'm not Moondog. That's funny. But yeah, so I really like that we have our lagging indicator well above back here. So super positive trend, right? We're above the cloud. We're deviating further away right here. And we're really following the blue line pretty nicely. It's not, like I said, really snapped back to it well. So my only issue would be is that with this candle here, would you close at 540? So about up here. My only issue is with this candle is it is kind of far away from here. So I do think you'll see a bit of a snapback to the blue line. Maybe not that much. Maybe only about like to 515 or so. But I do think it will see a snapback based on what I'm seeing right here on the lines. But let's zoom in onto the 30-minute and see. Wow, so those same lines are on the 30-minute right here. You see this? The line I put here is at that red resistance that flatlined. And then right here, the bottom of that candle. So again, I think that there will be a bit of selling tomorrow. Because if you also look, this is a pretty huge run as well. So I think tomorrow is probably going to be a down day, especially with the MACD going like this. So I would watch this, Jonathan, and I would wait for it to do a bounce. You know, wait for a little bit of a price reversal because we don't know how much of these gaps it's going to want to fill, especially with this big candle here. You know what I mean? I mean, it did kind of consolidate a little bit right here, but again, it jumped straight back out of it. And a lot of people are probably going to look to sell since it's a big price jump from, you know, just the 26th right here. We're talking 480 all the way up to 540, right? So that's a pretty big jump. And it doesn't mean it's going to stay, or it doesn't mean that it is going to retrace. Just if I was waiting to buy with how these indicators are turning down right now, I would think that it is a little hot and things are going to cool off. And it might retest the top of this one here actually, around like 526. So I would maybe set some limit buys at like 526 and 515 and have a really tight stop loss, because if it does dip that low, there's no telling that it won't go down to 498. Yeah, 525, I would think that's a very good waiting point, Jonathan, because that's like right here at the top of this candle, and I think that would work out well. But I think if you play this 515 to 526 range, that'd be your smartest bet, because most likely it is going to continue an uptrend in my opinion from there. But I definitely wouldn't buy it at 540. I definitely wouldn't buy it at 550, 560. Just not me personally, because this is a really long run in my opinion for this stock. Because if you look back, I mean, look, it's pretty much been down and consolidating for most of the time, and this is its first big run in a while. So you probably have a lot of people that have been holding this ready to get out on a nice peak. And again, I think it might test this gap a little bit down. I'm just not sure how far, Jonathan. I don't want to give you an exact price, but I personally would probably try to play 526, 515, something around in there. And yeah, no problem at all, man. Okay, so now let's do IDXG. So whoever requested this one? Yeah, absolutely, Jonathan. Anytime, dude. Anytime. Is IDXG bro in the house, or did they leave? If the IDX person is gone, then we'll probably skip it because I want to do a little bit interactive right now. Try to help people out. All right, last call, IDXG. Oh, okay. All right, Gerard. Okay, so you're wondering if it's gonna hit $1.60? Okay. Let's see really quick. All right, so this is pretty nice here. It busted through this resistance cloud really well. It didn't really consolidate too hard. And charting class, you know what? I haven't had a live charting class. I could start doing that, I think. I've been basically just doing charting videos. Like I'll just go over an indicator or something and just do a short video on it. But I didn't think about doing like a live class or anything. You think people will show up? I don't know. I could make some lesson plans or something and maybe go through some indicators and stuff like that live. That might be helpful. I don't know. I mean, it's really what you guys are really driving this. I only started the YouTube because of you guys. I only started posting charts because of you guys. So it's all what you guys want. So, but in terms of this right now, I do like how it broke through the cloud. It's kind of rejected it pretty nicely overall. It dipped a little bit in, but it didn't go below the red resistance line. And then it's got a nice little buy signal here, man. So will it hit $1.60? I actually think it will hit $1.60. Where is it? Yeah, I think it could hit $1.60, dude. As long as it rejects this cloud, if it goes down anymore, around 132, I think it can. But you do have a buy signal here, and it is above the cloud. So that's usually a pretty good sign. The RSI is basically flat. You're about to get a buy signal here on the stochastic as well. Your MACD is going down, so it's a little worrying, but we have enough indicators saying that it's either neutral or up that I think that's all right. But let's pull up the 60-minute and see. Yeah, so here you can see on the 60-minute though, you're gonna have to get back in this consolidation cloud first to do that, right? So I would watch the 60-minute more than the daily. The daily says yes, it will happen in a matter of time, but I think that you're gonna have to wait to see a little bit more upturn on this personally. But it does look like your indicators are about to turn. So if you're already in it, dude, I would definitely hold and see what happens. And if you're not in it, wait till it's in the consolidation cloud maybe, and make sure that these indicators are turning up. And see what happens there. But I don't think it's a bad hold if you're already in, dude. If you're trying to get to 160, I'd probably try to do the same thing if I was already bought in. But yeah, it's going to have to go through a little bit of resistance, but not too bad. An interactive class where we ask questions on the lesson. Yeah, that would be cool actually. See if you guys remember. What I was saying while I was talking about it, huh? See if I remember what I was saying when I was talking about it. That'd be pretty cool. All right, Torian, I'll see you, man. We're about done anyway. We only have 3 more to go, and then we'll be done, guys. So, yeah, I probably won't do any more because we're already at 3.5 hours. So, what, dude, Jonathan, bro? Thank you so much, dude. You did not have to do that, man. You did not have to do that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, man. Wow, no, seriously, I really appreciate that, Jonathan. Gerard, yeah, you're in at 142. Yeah, that's not a bad price to be in at all, dude. Yeah, I think you can swing it. Just be really careful. If you see it dipping below, like 139, 138, be a little bit careful, okay? That's all I'm going to say. But I think that you have a pretty good chance of hitting 160. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Maybe a day or two because it's gonna have to bust through it. Okay. All right, Jigglypuff. I'll take it, man. All right. So we got IDXG done. So next is INPX. So who requested IMPX? If you really, really want to, there's the link. You don't have to. You really don't have to. I love doing this for you guys. So you seriously don't have to. But if you do, thank you so much. This is going towards my rent and everything. I just found out some bad news and stuff, so just kind of like it's a really big help. You guys have no idea. I don't want to drag you guys into it, but yeah, it's super big help. You guys have no idea. But yeah, JCog man, are you in it already, or what's the deal? You just want to know if it's a dumb play. What did you buy in at? Oh, okay, you didn't buy in yet. Okay. Well, if I had to guess, now would be your time to get in, because it's riding along this lower resistance line. It hasn't really pushed through it. You're in at 43. I'd say 43 is a little bit high, but it's not terrible because it is inside the zone here between the lines. My only worry is we do still have a little bit of downward pressure here on these, and they don't seem to quite be turning up yet. But it's not terrible either. It's riding along this resistance really well. If I was you though, I'd honestly try to get some on the lower resistance around 39, just average it down a little bit, just in case the swing, when it does happen, isn't that strong. You know what I mean? Let's take a look at the daily really quick. And yeah, see, that's what I'm saying too. On the daily here, you can see it's approaching this huge cloud. So it's gonna either bust through really nicely, or it's just gonna be rejection, 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 right? And just kind of consolidate down in the lower part here. So if I were you, I would probably hold what you have, maybe average down, around 39 or so, right here around 38. And if it starts dipping below and it looks like it's not going to go through this cloud, you're going to want to stop loss it out really quick. So, but I don't think it's a bad play necessarily. It's just, this is really scary, right? I mean, that's some really strong resistance. That's a really big gap down, and it hasn't really tested itself other than just recently. So it just started on the lagging indicator to be above the price, right? So it could be the new positive trend, but it's gonna have to beat this cloud, dude. And that's not always that easy, but sometimes it just zooms straight through and pops out, So I would personally, if I had it, I'd be looking to average down whenever possible, and then really closely watching this cloud and make sure that it doesn't just reject it completely and keep going down. Okay? That's just pretty much what I would do, man. But I mean, as you can see, we got even resistance on the 10-minute, right? And that resistance is just at 44. So I don't know. I honestly might even just sell it at 44. Just to be safe with all the resistance coming up. So if it comes to 44, I honestly may just get out at 44 just to be safe, and I would stop loss it around 38, dude. I'd stop loss around 38, because if you dip too far below 38, you're going back to levels on the 25th right here after this huge run, and that's filling a gap as well right here, right? So if this gap needs to fill again, it could very well need to fill this gap. And I don't know, I would just be very tight on this one, because like I said, this cloud of resistance is very scary, okay? So there's nothing wrong with your play at 42. I don't think it's a bad play. It's just a little bit unfortunate timing that this cloud is coming up. But I would honestly try to get out, 47 if you can, maybe 50. But I would not want to play with this cloud, okay? Just personal preference. Yeah, no problem, JCog. Absolutely, man. All right, now we're going to do Nvidia. So whoever requested Nvidia, are you still here? And if you are, what are what are your goals with it? Are you looking to buy in? Are you looking to sell it? Are you looking to what's going on with that? I take a sip of my beer here. Oh, that's good. Nvidia bro still here? Can it hit 200? Okay. That's a good question. I think a lot of people have this question. Alright, so after looking at this, it follows the blue line really, really well. A little bit of separation here and there, but normally not too bad. It likes to snap back pretty nicely. It's on a positive trend, right? We have our indicator above the price there. It's not an extremely positive trend, but it is a positive trend. Our cloud is acting as support, not resistance. We're about to probably turn this into a buy signal on the MACD. Stochastic is a little down for me, but it is starting to curve up, and the RSI is curving up as well. And if you also look, this is deviating away from the resistance, which is very nice. So it means that we're probably going to start retracing some of this huge gap. I'm not sure what happened here, but it looks like maybe some shorting or something, but that's some pretty big gappage. I mean, oh, that makes sense, guys. Look here. That's why, because it gapped up really big. Look at that. So it's going to want to fill this zone first, that's for sure. I think you dipped as low as you're going to go because of this gap here. I think that gap is filled pretty much now. I'm not worried about it dipping below where it is now. But yeah, it's going to have to fill this gap up. So I definitely think you can see the 180 to 185 range, no problem. And it's just going to be a matter of momentum to see if it can get to 200. But you're saying this year, right? So by December. So let's actually go fib fan for that. Oops. Oh, that's why, the Tesla stuff. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so let's use this MACD crossing on this gap here. Let's pull out a fib fan. Okay, so that's really strong. Even with that recent gap down, it's still within inside this zone that it's been playing with. And it even likes to play above it as well. That's really nice. Alright, MJ. We'll do neat one more time, dude. Alright. We'll do one more time on neat. We'll do it at the very, very end. We'll just for a second. You feel like a huge pullback tomorrow? We'll see, man. We'll see. Let me do Nvidia, AMD, and then we'll do very quickly neat before I get off, okay? We're going to be approaching 4 hours of me talking, though. 4 hours. Alright, so, but yeah, so even with this dip here, I'm not too scared. It even looks like it has its own other trend right here, which honestly I might map that to. Yeah, so that seems to be testing it just fine. I'd say as long as it doesn't dip too hard below 170, it could keep this trend really nicely. And we're looking at 200 by, yeah, like December 1st. You think the person left? Okay. You think the person left for AMD? We'll see. But yeah, so it looks like to me though that by December 1st you might be able to see 200 as long as it, yeah. No, I'm not stealing my neighbor's Wi-Fi. My ex lives in the other half of the apartment, and whenever she does a lot of internet stuff, it kind of craps me out. So it's all good though. but it should be back. Let me know when it's back, guys. Yeah, it should be back. Yeah, everything should be going right now. Okay, good deal. But yeah, like I was saying, man, if it even just follows this lower trend here, right here, you should hit $200 by December 1st. That's not a guarantee or anything, but I mean, I don't see any reason why not. This is a very, very strong trend and it's following it really well. Yeah, I think you can hit 200 by December 1st. Yeah. I really think that could happen. It just really depends on how far this dips right here. So I'd say December 1st to January 24th. All right, so I know that's kind of a big range, but I think that could happen, no problem. All right, so is the AMD person here? Oh, it seems like I lost everybody when the stream crashed. Hopefully it's working now, guys. Should be good. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. It happens. Yeah, it does happen. Okay, cool. All right, so we got Nvidia done, and now we're doing NEAT, right? I think NEAT was the next one. Just really quickly, because we did already go over it today. I don't think it's going to pull back that hard from $1. If it does, it would dip back pretty hard, honestly, in my opinion. Like maybe back to 87 to 91 again. I don't want to go through too much of the chart again just because we did it. So we did it like twice today, I think. So, but yeah, so I don't think it's going to pull back that hard. At most 91 to 87, but I think it's going to really want to hold that dollar range, and there's just a lot of shorts today. I don't think there's going to be as many tomorrow, but we'll see. Didn't it close at like 85 or something, or 95 or something like that? Yeah, so it ended up at, okay, even though after hours it dipped pretty good, it still closed back up at $1 at the end of after hours. So I'm really not worried about it, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be just fine. Lots of shorts today. Some people got out. Some people weren't sure it was going to last, but I think it's going to be just fine tomorrow, to be honest with you. Okay, so what was after NEAT? Nobody? Okay. Well, that's fine. Yeah, if we're done, we're done. That's not a big deal. All right, so we're going to end here on these last two. Okay. We'll do VSELL as well then. Okay, so we'll just really quickly pull up XXII because we did it earlier. Basically what I see with XXII is I still think it's going to retrace back. I'm just going to do this one really fast, guys, because I already did XXII. So, but yeah, I think it still is going to retrace back because it is in consolidation. It got a bit of a sell signal here on the 10-minute, so it's going to consolidate a bit longer. And then if you look at the daily, we still have all this support to get to, and we're still on a sell here. Even though there's a slight buy here, I still think it's going to be down, and we're still going to be testing this range here again between 240 and 226. I think that that's still going to happen. So, but that's basically all I have for XXII. I'm not going to buy yet. I still think even if it has a little pop now, it's going to go back down. So, we're going to do IMGN really quick. And then, let's see, IMGN, let's see, that's a bit of a big sell signal, but it's already recovering from it, which is really nice to see. MACD is already recovering, Stochastic's recovering really nice, and it rejected this resistance very nicely as well. This actually looks really good to me on the daily so far. It went through consolidation just fine. Now we're not on an uptrend yet though with our lagging indicator. That could very easily change right here. But yeah, this looks really strong on the daily. We can go zoom in on the 30-minute really quick. Yeah, it looks good on the 30-minute as well. It just went right through the resistance. Buy is still deviating away, or the blue line is still deviating away. Yeah, this looks really good. I don't know how much longer the run will continue, but it doesn't have much indication of slowing down other than the MACD kind of curving off here. RSI is a little bit hot as well. So I'd maybe try to play it closer to the blue line, maybe like 723 or so. But this actually looks really good. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the NEAT chart a little bit on the daily with this huge run through after the resistance cloud. So I don't see anything wrong with it on the 30-minute or the daily. Let's take a look at the 60-minute. Yeah, even on the 60-minute, it busted right through resistance. It's still going up. I think it's a little bit hot. So you may even see 706 again, honestly, because remember, stocks, when they drift away from the blue line, they like to snap back, right? So we may see the snap back, but I don't think it's going to go too far back down to resistance. So, but yeah, no, this one looks pretty good. I would probably just try to get it closer to like $7 and try to play it swing back up from $7. But if you see it dip too far below 7 as well, it's probably a little risky. But this chart does look pretty good. It looks better than a lot of the ones that we looked at. And yeah, 3 hours and 45 minutes so far, and we're gonna do the last one right now. Last live request was, what was it, VSELL? Yeah, VSELL. All right, Jonathan, we're gonna do the last one for you, buddy. All right. All right, so we got this going on. Yeah, this looks a little bit scary just because of how much it's retested already. I mean, we're testing levels back on August 15th already. So that's not a big deal, but it is kind of sad that it's wasted all that time. Oh, thank you so much, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So yeah, it's kind of sad that it's erased all this and it's approaching another consolidation cloud. But there's no reason to think that it can't go, you know, kind of vertically in this cloud. Just off initial findings, Stochastic is coming into a buy again. MACD is a little too low for me, but I would be scared of buying this right now just because of how long it's been up. I would like to see it going upwards in consolidation first before I would make a buy. Yeah, and again here on the yeah, it's a little bit spooky. And then yeah, we're pretty far below resistances here. Lagging indicators below. You know what I mean? We just now tested the top of this red. So this may very well be a price rejection and it's going to go up now. But I would want to see a little bit longer term positive trend first. I mean, I don't want to have you miss a play, but you know, I also don't want you to jump into a play just to get caught with resistance immediately. But you very well might be able to get 30 cents out of it, you know. But it's just a little spooky still. But you do on the hourly at least have these upturning pretty sharply, but they may just be getting too hot too quick. Jonathan, day trade, yes. I would maybe try it tomorrow if you want and see what happens. But I don't know about any longer than a day trade. Yeah, Jonathan. Just because of how much resistance and how scary it kind of looks, I would want to. Yeah, and here we are. We're in a resistance cloud. So very well you could bust out of this cloud tomorrow, John, and you know, get a nice little pop. You know, maybe up to like 10, something like that. Maybe 10, 20. But I wouldn't bank on too much of a gain. And I'd really want to see what happens when it gets out of the cloud first. So, but yeah, I wouldn't do more than a day trade on this either, Jonathan. It's just a little too risky with how much this is dipping and barely popping back. But again, this might be the time where it pops back and it tests these levels again at 1024 or so. So, that, all right. Well, if you're already shaking in fear, then that's probably a good sign, John, because it doesn't look that healthy. But it's, like I said, a small swing day trade maybe, but that's about it. But yeah, okay. I think you need some stocks with my stamina. That's funny. Yes, MJ, you can watch this video. All you have to do is just rewind it on the bar, or I believe when I'm done, it should post to my YouTube channel. Yeah, you should be able to watch the entire stream. I think the DVR saves all of it. Sometimes it only saves like 2 hours of it for some reason, but I don't even know. I think the best stock today, was it? Hold on. I think this one. I think ATRS was the best stock of the day, Moonman. It just seemed to be continuously going up. Yeah, I think so. That or Nvidia. Is either that or Nvidia. Just in terms of potential. Yeah, I think ATRS or Nvidia. and those are probably the best ones. And then HMNY also. I'd say HMNY, ATRS, and Nvidia. Those are my three. That's what I would say were the best top three today. SYIN is a close fourth, just because I think that it's going to recover just fine. And NEAT was also a close fourth. So, and SYIN and NEAT for fourth place. So, anyway, guys, we're approaching on 4 hours now, just about 9 minutes away from 4 hours. I thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out and doing this with me. I love doing this at night, and you guys, like I said, you guys are the reason I do these charts. So just keep coming. We'll keep doing them, and you know, we'll have fun, man. I've really been enjoying doing this for you guys. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna head off now. I'm gonna go in the Discord. Let me post the Discord link really quickly for those that don't have it. If just in case you're here and you don't have the Discord link, here it is, completely free, everything, and we just chat. We do all our DD in there. The PayPal link's in the description. If you do want to donate, you can, but it's absolutely positively never mandatory to donate anything. It is purely just if you want to help me out and keep doing the charts. No big deal either way, guys. So awesome, and thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay, guys? All right, see you in the Discord.